Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Fell in Love with Milf Mikoto Uchiha movie. Before we start, please go support Naruto x Urza41 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Naruto is a male in this story. Chapter 1 Prologue. Hello, I know that many know his name. I know that many things have also been written by his name. Some very happy, others very tragic, others very heroic, and others, well, you understand, but the truth is different. He is a jounin from Konoha, or rather he was a jounin from Konoha. You might wonder how he was a jounin? Maybe he died, and it is his spirit who is speaking? Did he betray the village? Did they exile him? All of those assumptions are very imaginative, but the truth is different. He gave up his life as a jounin and in the process as an elite ANBU for a very simple reason. The reason was for love. Ah, love, what a beautiful and at the same time so horrible feeling. It can give us the light of happiness or the most absolute darkness. It can turn a sensitive and calm man into a beast without feelings. Love is what gives meaning and without meaning to our lives. If there is something like a universal force that moves the universe, that creates miracles and disasters, that is the closest thing to God and the devil, that is love. Many will wonder at this point, how can Naruto Uzumaki, known worldwide for being an airhead, be able to think such profound things? The reason is also very simple. He is in love. He is in love with the most wonderful woman in the world, who he can proudly call his wife, a happy, intelligent, loving woman. She is the light in his eyes and the one who takes away from him. That light hits when he doesn't behave, ha ha ha. If your wife is sometimes scary, now you must imagine that you must think, who is the woman who was able to make Naruto Uzumaki give up his dream of being Hokage? To begin with, it was never his dream of him to be Hokage. He just wanted a quiet life. Even some should think of names like Sakura Haruno, Hinata Hyuga, Ino Yamanaka. Others a little more imaginative will say names like Temari, Mei Terumi, Samui, Tsunade Senju, Shizen, Anko Mitarashi, Kurina Yuhi, and some much more imaginative will say names like Kuratsuchi, Mito Uzumaki, Kushina Uzumaki, Karen Uzumaki, Taiya, Yugao, I am. But the truth is, no, none of those names are. Imagine a 17-year-old boy in love with a woman. Up to that point everything is normal. But the woman he loves is older than him. Up to that point he is still relatively normal. But if that woman is married, things begin to get complicated. And it complicates even more if that woman is the mother of your best friend, who is also the captain of your ANBU squad, and it becomes much more complicated if that woman is the wife of the leader of one of the most respected and feared clans in Konoha. So that you understand things better, I will tell you his love story of him for his wife of him, the love story of two people who love each other madly, the story of Naruto Uzumaki and Mikoto Uchiha, his beloved wife of him. Chapter 2 How It All Began. As I told you, I will tell you how everything started between Mikoto and Naruto. It all started when she arrived at Itachi Academy. She went every day to drop off her son Itachi. He was 3 years younger than him, but he was the genius of the Uchiha clan. 2 years after the other genius of that clan, Shisui Uchiha, had graduated, unlike Itachi, he was nice and did not discriminate against anyone. As he said, the first day he saw Mikoto he was captivated. He blushed just to see her smile. She was special. He was an orphan and he felt like a million miles away from her. She was perfect. His greatest joy during his stay at the academy was seeing her. He arrived at the academy early just with the intention of seeing her, and left last of her just to see her again. When he was going to leave Itachi, his father that day was in a bad mood. It was best for everyone to stay away from Naruto. Ironically, as time went by, Itachi became his best friend. The day came when I introduced them. That day he was surprised, if you can call it surprise, to faint with a silly smile on her face, when she told me, "Hello Naruto-kun, it's a pleasure to meet you. Itachi-chan has told me a lot about you." Those words went straight to his heart, and he could only answer hello before fainting. When he woke up, the first thing he saw was her beautiful black eyes that looked at him with affection, and before he knew it he was already fainted again. Time passed, and so his academy days ended. He graduated with Itachi and he was the best in the class and Naruto was the second. They were inseparable. When they started as genin, They complained daily about the stupid D-rank missions, and whoever listened to them patiently, it was Mikoto. She simply laughed when they began their complaints. What's the point of mowing the lawn of the Hokage mansion if when there's a war they don't use a lawnmower to defend themselves? What's the point of being a babysitter for some unbearable twins if in a fight they don't care? They would change the opponent's diapers. That was their daily complaints, and she only smiled. Being the best in the academy, they had many girls after them. At first Itachi saw them as annoyances, but as time went by the annoyances became interesting, at least for him. However, Naruto was in love with her, the pretty and sweet Mikoto. Of course he never told Itachi. Time passed. Naruto was 16 years old, Itachi turned 13. They were both chunin, and soon they would be nominated for promotion to jounin. In missions they were unsurpassed. There was no mission impossible for them. Itachi had started dating a girl named Kurina. He knew how to recognize that the girl was pretty, but she didn't compare to her Mikoto-chan. On the other hand, Naruto tried to date girls his age, first Yugao Yuzuki, then a girl named Hitomi Hyuga, then came his biggest failure, Anko Mitarashi. His relationships with girls, if he was lucky, lasted a month, as was the case with Hitomi and Yugao. With Anko it was 2 days. It was always the same. Every time he was going to kiss them, Mikoto's face and his face appeared in front of him. It was disappointment. I know it sounded pathetic, but at 16 he had never kissed a girl. He wanted his first kiss, his first time, his first everything to be with Mikoto. But Naruto knew the cruel truth. That would never happen. It hurt him. And a lot. After his monumental failure with Anko, word began to spread around the village that he didn't like women. He could even swear that Anko began to spread the rumor that he was gay. A few days after the rumor began to spread that he was gay, the first to approach him was obviously Itachi. Ita, hey Dobe, is it true that you like men? Nara, where did you get that stupid thing from, team? Ita, well, everyone in the village says that you are gay, since you are 16 years old and none of your girlfriends has ever lasted more than a month, and you haven't even kissed any of them. Nara, don't be an idiot, Itachi. I like women. Ita, then why don't you have a girlfriend, or have you kissed any girl? He was trapped. He had to defend himself, but he couldn't tell his friend that the woman he liked was his mother. Nara, Mira team, I like a very pretty girl. She is older than me. She only sees me as a little boy. I know that my dream is impossible, but I would like my first everything to be with her. That is why my girlfriends, they don't last even a month, and I don't even kiss them. Because I consider it a betrayal towards her, and believe me when I tell you that I have tried to forget her, but I can't. He looked at me seriously, and then gave me a slight smile. Ita, you are a dope, Naruto. A few days later the Hokage called him, and I gave him the same explanation as Itachi. He advised him to tell that girl to tell him what she felt. He only answered that he would try. A few months passed, and Naruto and Itachi were named jounin. They were happy, and they were immediately called ANBU, which for them was a huge surprise. After 2 months of training in ANBU, they were sent on missions. The result even surprised the Hokage. They were the best. Also in their squad there was Kakashi, or as they had to call him in Inu operations, and Shursui, who they had to call Karasu. Itachi was a weasel, and he Kitsune. The most difficult missions were entrusted. Infiltration into castles, important assassinations, kidnappings or complicated rescues. Any complicated mission, there was always the 4 were called. Life was relatively routine. Missions, rest, missions, not to mention that when Naruto had free time he only thought about her. I will even confess that he started a notebook where he put his thoughts and pseudo-poems for Mikoto that he obviously never sent her. But everything changed one rainy night, a night when he couldn't sleep and went out for a walk. Chapter 3, Confessions on a Stormy Night, Part 1. As I said, it was a rainy night. It was another of his classic nights when he couldn't sleep because he thought about Mikoto. It was midnight, so despite the rain he decided to go for a walk. Maybe with a little luck he would get sick and his Miko-chan would eat to take care of him. Yes, it already sounds naive, but it is true that when you fall in love you become stupid, naive, and if things happen you become perverted. Or at least the last thing is what Kakashi keeps saying while reading his stupid books with orange covers. Naruto went out for a walk without worrying about carrying an umbrella. After about 5 minutes of walking, he arrived at a square, which due to the time and the weather was empty, or at least that's what he thought, since on one of the benches in the square there was someone sitting. It caught his attention. Who was so stupid or crazy to sit in a square in the middle of that downpour? He got a little closer, and when he got closer he froze. Near him was the woman of his dreams, the guilty one. Although indirect that he was getting wet at that moment, in front of Naruto was Mikoto Uchiha. Mikoto-san, what are you doing at this time and in this weather? Miko, nothing that matters to you, he said coldly without looking up. Well, if I care, I can't allow him to be here getting wet. Miko, let me calm, she managed to say when she raised her face and saw him. I immediately noticed that he had been crying. Miko, Naruto-kun, I want to be alone, she said sadly. Well, I'm not going to allow it, especially in this weather, so Mikoto-san, please accompany me to my house, which is close by. There you can stay in my room alone but without the risk of getting sick, he said as he took it by the hand and almost dragging her home. She followed him like a little girl. When they arrived, they were both soaked. She immediately went to look for a couple of towels, and when he handed her the one that was for her, she could see that the clothes were so soaked that they were sticking to her body, to her beautiful and nice body. He told her to take a bath, and he would lend her some clothes to change into. She only answered in agreement. When she went into the bathroom to bathe, she looked among her clothes for something that she could wear. After rummaging through the clothes, she found a t-shirt and shorts that could be used to cover herself. Before she finished bathing, she barely opened the bathroom door and left her clothes for him to change. Then he went to the kitchen to put water on to heat to offer him some tea. After a few minutes the water in the shower stopped running, and a few minutes later she came out with the shirt and shorts. Naruto was shocked. The shorts fit at least halfway up her thigh, therefore showing quite a bit of her shapeliness and beautiful legs. The shirt was loose on her, but in the part of her breasts it seemed that they were held up as a result of an anti-gravity jutsu. He was going crazy. Mikoto Uchiha, the woman of his dreams, Ella in her house, Ella wearing her clothes. Ella was too much, and he was turning red to the millionth degree. Miko, you better take a hot bath before you get a fever, she said. Yes, okay. Mikoto-san, she said, leaving like lightning for the bathroom. He was in such a hurry that he forgot to bring her clothes. After about 10 minutes he left the bathroom, cursing his stupidity for not wearing clothes. He was upset with himself that he forgot the detail about his guests, so he put the towel around his waist and went out to look for clothes to wear. He opened the bathroom door and met his Mikoto-chan in the hallway. She stayed for a few seconds looking at him carefully. He stayed looking at her. It seemed like they were competing as to which of the two could turn redder. Lo, I'm sorry, I forgot to bring clothes, he said apologetically, all red. Miko, excuse me, but here I brought you some clothes, she said completely red. Jiare, thank you, Mikoto-san, he said stuttering. She handed him the clothes and their hands touched, and he felt like an electric shock ran through his body. He took the clothes and went back to the bathroom to get dressed. After a few minutes he came out already dressed. He went to the living room and found her sitting with everything ready to have tea. Thank you, Mikoto-san, but you shouldn't have bothered, he said. Miko, it's not a bother, Naruto-kun. You brought me to your house. It's the least I can do, she said with that smile that drove him crazy. It's okay, Mikoto-san, but don't tell me Naruto-kun makes me feel like a child. Just tell me Naruto plainly, he said smiling. Miko, okay Naruto, but if I call you Naruto I want you to call me Mikoto, she told him with a smile. I couldn't, it could get her in some trouble. Miko, let's do this, Naruto. You will call me Mikoto only when we are alone in front of other people. You will continue calling me as always. What do you think? She told him with a beautiful smile. Okay, Mikoto. Just saying her name felt like she was in the clouds. She served the tea with elegance. Her manner was soft and precise. Almost the everyday act of serving tea in her hands seemed a work of art and neatness. Sorry, Mikoto, for not having something to accompany the tea, he said sadly. Miko, don't worry, Naruto. What we need now is to warm up the body, she told him. I'm sorry for asking you, but why were you out of your house and especially at this time? I asked him. Miko, I could ask the same thing, she said. I just couldn't sleep and decided to go for a walk, he said. Miko, in this weather? Said he, amazed. Yes, I had already been sitting where you are for more than half an hour, so I decided to go out. What about you? he responded. Miko Naruto, that is complicated something. By any chance don't you have something a little stronger for me to tell you? He said sadly. Naru, I have wine, will it work? He said. Miko, yes, the wine is good, Naruto, I answered. He went to the kitchen to get a corkscrew and some glasses. Naru, sorry if they are not the right glasses, he said sadly. Miko. It doesn't matter, Naruto. She responded, she looked downcast. He poured the glasses and handed one to her, and he stayed with the other. The storm continued and was stronger than a few minutes ago. Suddenly the electricity went out. Luckily he had candles, because the flashlight, like all things, when you never find them, so he put out some candles. It was almost 1 in the morning. Mikoto held the glass of wine in her beautiful hands and stared at the candle flame. It stayed like that for about 5 minutes. Until I decided to speak. Miko, you really want to know why I was there at this time? I asked him. Naru, of course, Mikoto, so I can help you, he responded with conviction. She just smiled and gave a sigh. Miko, you see, Naruto, I'm not happy in my marriage, she said with a sad tone. Naru, but why? You always look happy, she told him. Miko, Naruto, that's just a facade, like the one you use every day. He moved uncomfortably. But she continued, Naruto, I married Fugaku out of obligation, not out of love. He was frozen, the confession was direct. Naru, but why did you accept that? I asked, confused. Miko, Naruto, I was forced to get married because I was pregnant with Itachi-chan. He remained silent, and she began to tell him her story. When I became pregnant with Itachi-chan, I was 13 years old, and Fugaku was 16. It all started one day at a party that I met a mutual relative. He seemed nice but not handsome. I had broken up with my first boyfriend the day before, with whom I did not get beyond a few kisses. Fugaku, meanwhile, was the son of the leader of the Uchiha clan, someone desired by all the girls in the village. However, I was not one of those. For me, he was just Fugaku Uchiha. That night, I don't know why, but he started flirting with me. At first it seemed stupid to me that a 16-year-old boy would flirt with a 16-year-old girl. 13, so I didn't take it into account. However, around 11 at night my ex-boyfriend showed up accompanied by another girl, and they were very lovey-dovey. I must admit that I still had feelings for him, but seeing him with another girl made me jealous. They invaded me. If I had thought things through better, as I said, I was invaded by jealousy, so I accepted Fugaku's flirtations just to annoy my ex. However, he started giving me beer. At first I told him no, but when he saw since my ex was shamelessly touching the other girl, I decided to accept the beer. After a few drinks I started to feel dizzy, so Fugaku decided to accompany me. However, he took me to one of the bedrooms, then he started kissing me and then to play. Long story short, we ended up in bed and we did it. After that we left the room and everyone went back to their world. If I'm honest, I don't remember anything about that night. That night emotionally didn't mean anything. He remained silent, and she encouraged herself to continue. Although internally all she wanted was to kill Fugaku. Miko, unfortunately and fortunately, that night had consequences. Fortunately, because as a result of that night of madness, because that night was not about love, not even about passion, it was a night of spite and madness, at least on my part. From that night was born Itachi-chan, who, as you know, I love dearly. But the negative consequences of that night are that I end up married to Fugaku, a man whom I have learned to despair and hate from the depths of my being, Mikoto said. Naru, but why do you stay with him if you don't love him? I ask. Miko, Naruto, I can't come and ask for a divorce just like that. Since he is the leader of the Uchiha clan, I must have conclusive evidence if I want a divorce, because it will be his word against mine and I am the one to lose. She regretfully said. Her Miko-chan, so the most sensitive thing to do is hug her. Naru, but you still haven't explained to me why you were outside in this rain? I ask. Suddenly she hugged him and started crying on his shoulder. Naru, what's wrong, Miko-chan? He said, worried. Miko, Naruto, I know that Fugaku is cheating on me. I've known it for a long time, but I can't prove it. If I could. I would be free. Even today I found underwear in the bedroom that wasn't mine, and when I asked him, he acknowledged that he had a lover. He told me that she was more of a woman than me. Mikoto said, crying, Chan? Naru, don't worry, Miko-chan. Fugaku is an idiot. Look at cheating on a wonderful woman like you. If you were my wife, I would love you madly and treat you like a queen, he told her while hugging her and caressing her beautiful hair. Miko. Naruto, how kind you are, she said calmly, looking into his eyes. Her face was so tender and her pain reached the deepest part of her being, that he didn't know why. Even now he didn't understand it. It seemed to him that her lips were calling him, that they were begging to be kissed. Without thinking about anything, he simply kissed her. Softly, when he felt the contact of her lips with his lips, he felt transported to another world. After a couple of seconds, he separated from her, all red. Naru, sorry Mikoto, I didn't mean to take advantage of you. I'm sorry, he said with regret, as he believed she would hate him under her face. She cupped his face and looked at him seriously, straight in her eyes. Miko, you finally dared, she said seriously. Chapter 4, Confessions on a Stormy Night, Part 2. He was taken back by what Mikoto had said and tried to defend himself. Naru, I don't know what you mean, Mikoto, I answered, scared. Miko, Naruto, don't lie to me. You've loved me for a long time, she told him seriously. He was trapped, cornered, his biggest secret discovered, and precisely because of her. The only thing he wanted at that moment was for lightning to cross the ceiling and hit him on top to save himself the embarrassment of explaining many things to Mikoto, since I knew that she didn't understand. I would settle for I don't know what you're talking about. She knew what she was talking about. Hard drink. Naru, no. I don't know what you're talking about, he said, pale. Miko, Naruto, I know that since you were 14 years old that you are in love with me, she began to say, and he was frozen. I know that you love me, and today I have clarified all my doubts. Naru, what do you mean? He said like a cornered animal. Miko, before you left you should have saved this, she said, showing him her notebook of thoughts and pseudo-poems. Now he was lost. I'm surprised to know how much you know about me and how much your love for me is, Naruto. He was dumbfounded. She had surprised him. Miko, well, Naruto, are you going to deny me what you feel? He was between a rock and a hard place. Naru, it's true, Mikoto, I love you with all my being. A day without seeing you is the worst day of my life. If you hated me, I would prefer to die, since my life without you is nothing, he said. She looked at him seriously, then gave him a beautiful smile. And she did something that she would not have expected in her wildest dreams of her. She brought her face closer to him and kissed him. Miko, Naruto, I must confess that I like you a lot too, she said after kissing him. That was the climax to all the emotions I had felt that night, and happened what would happen to anyone who would faint without remedy. A little while later he woke up, and the first thing he saw were those black eyes that drove him crazy and those lips that just by touching them a couple of times he had already made him addicted. He opened his eyes wide, and I stood up to find that she was next to him and taking his hand. Naru, I must continue dreaming, he said in a low voice. Miko, why do you say that? I asked him. Naru, because when I wake up you won't be by my side, and your confession from a while ago, and your kiss will be nothing more than another of my impossible dreams, he said sadly. She looked at him blushing, but he, believing it was still a dream, continued. Naru, at least I have the consolation that in my dreams you gave me my first kiss, he said, completely rejected. Miko, what does that mean about your first kiss? She said, confused. Naru, the reason why I always break up with my girlfriends is you, Miko-chan. I have tried to fall in love with other girls, but every time I was about to kiss them your face appeared, giving me the most terrifying of your gestures, your contempt, and I couldn't continue. I know it must sound pathetic that a 17-year-old boy has never kissed a girl. But it's the truth. The truth is that the owner of my first everything I want is you, Mikoto. Although I know it's impossible, he said sadly. She looked at him surprised, and at the same time her eyes had a different shine than other times. It could be defined as desire, since she looked at him as if he were her prey and she was the hunter. Miko, Naruto, aren't you lying to me about your first kiss and the rest? She said seriously. Naru, even if it's a dream I would never lie to you, Mikoto, he said. Miko, Naru said her and hugged him tightly. Naru, this dream really seems real, he thought. Suddenly he felt Mikoto's lips on his lips again. This time the kiss was more passionate, more demanding. He simply let himself go and hugged her while their lips got to know each other in more detail. Suddenly he felt as if her tongue wanted to enter her mouth. By instinct he allowed Mikoto's tongue to enter his mouth. His tongue ran through Naruto's mouth and provoked his tongue to follow it suddenly, and without realizing it his tongue explored Mikoto's mouth. Suddenly the air began to become scarce and they had to separate. "Miko, I hope you liked your first real kiss," Naru, she told him. He was as if gone and couldn't think of any clever question or answer. "Naru, it's a dream, right?" was what I managed to say. She gave him a hard pinch on the arm. "Miko, I hope this shows you, Naruto Uzumaki, that it is not a dream," she said seriously. "Naru, sorry Mikoto, but this is like one of my craziest dreams. Now that I know it's not a dream," he said, rubbing where she pinched him. "I want to know something." "Miko, what?" she asked with doubt. "Naru, how do you like me?" I asked, confused. "Miko, it's simple, Naru. I've liked you for a year. You might wonder how is that possible. It's simple. A year ago I started to feel things for you. Your kindness, your ability to make me laugh, and I'm not going to deny it, you seemed to me very attractive. At first I was in a dilemma. I met you when I was little, but little by little I began to see you as a man and no longer the boy I knew. It's more so tonight when you came out of the bathroom with only that towel. You saved yourself from that. He raped you right there. That made him blush a lot. That's when I ended up realizing that you were no longer the boy I knew but the man who had won my heart. You're also very tender. And when you became Anko's boyfriend, I must admit that I was furious. I couldn't understand what you saw in that stupid brat. But when I found out that your relationship with her last 2 days, I know it seems cruel to you, but I was glad you were finally available again, and this time I decided that you wouldn't run away. Then came that rumor that you were gay. I got depressed again until a few days ago, when Itachi-chan came home dying of laughter. When I asked him, he told me that you were the biggest dope in the entire universe." "Naru, what did that fear say?" he said, annoyed. "Miko, he told me that you were in love with a girl older than you. That opened my eyes and I told myself that as soon as I had a moment alone with you I would confess my feelings to you," Mikoto answered. "Naru, but then, why were you crying when I found you?" I asked him. "Miko, Naru, don't think I was crying because he had a lover. In fact, I don't give a damn. What hurts me is that he makes me look like an idiot," Mikoto said, annoyed. "Naru, Miko-chan, forget that baka. I will try to get your freedom and I will try to make you the happiest woman in the whole world," he told her with conviction. She hugged him and kissed him passionately. "Naru, it seems like you want to make me addicted to your lips, Mikoto," he told her when they separated. "Miko, to tell the truth, yes, since you already made me addicted to your lips, Naruto Uzumaki." He hugged her and they kissed again. When they separated they looked into each other's eyes. "Miko, Naru, it's late. It's time for us to go to sleep," he told her. He had to admit that he was right. It was almost 3 in the morning. "Naru, okay Mikoto, you use the bed. I'll bring some blankets and sleep on the couch," he said. "Miko, none of that today. You sleep with me. Otherwise I sleep with you on the couch, but I do ain't sleep alone today," she said seriously, and again there was that disturbing shine in her eyes. "Naru, okay," he said, swallowing hard. They went to bed. She laid down on the side of the wall, and he turned towards the door and turned his back on her. It's not that he didn't want to see her, but you know, a bed plus 2 people who love each other, the result is obvious. But apparently she wanted to torment him. She approached him, hugged him and got very close to him. "Miko, do you not love me anymore, Naru?" she said with a tender and at the same time sensual voice in her ear. "Naru, no. No. It's not that," Miko-chan said, more nervous than condemned to death in front of the firing squad. "Miko, then why do you turn your back on me?" he asked again with the same tone of voice and in her ear. He was lost. His brain told him no, but his heart told him to turn around and see her. But his brain told him don't do it. If you do it, the best night of your life could be ruined. He was in a dilemma, but she did something that disconcerted him and made the balance weigh on the argument of his heart. "Miko, nah, are you too? Turn around, I want to see your pretty eyes," he said, and then bit her ear. He felt as if an electric shock ran through his entire body, and before his brain processed the implications he turned and looked into her eyes. She just smiled and hugged him. She then rested her head on his chest and settled down to sleep. "Naru, did you want to use me like a pillow?" I asked, feeling like an idiot. "Miko, yes, what were you thinking?" was her simple response from her. "Naru, well, you know," he said, totally confused. Miko, well, who would say that Naruto Uzumaki is a pervert? He said with a small laugh. Then he added, that will happen in a while when you least expect it, my love. He said that last thing in a tone that sounded between threat, desire, and tenderness that filled his heart. Soon she fell asleep and was able to look at her sweet face. Then she closed her eyes and tried to sleep. Chapter 5. The night before the mission. The next morning he found that Mikoto had slept using his chest as a pillow. The sensation was strange, not because it was annoying or anything. It was simply strange because it was an accumulation of emotions. On the one hand, disbelief, since it seemed impossible to him that the woman from his dreams she was sleeping on his chest as if it were the best pillow in the world. Then great tenderness, because his Miko-chan looked very tender asleep. Anxiety because he was afraid that when he woke up she would tell him that everything had been a mistake. Fear that everything was a dream, beautiful and all, but a dream after all. Love, an immense love for Mikoto, and why deny it, a great desire for Mikoto to be his body and soul. He looked at her for about 5 minutes. She looked so beautiful, but nothing prepared him for what would happen in that moment. Naruto, I love you, she said in her sleep. He had murdered, kidnapped, seen death many times face to face, but none of that is comparable to the emotion you can feel when you hear the woman of your dreams say your name to her in your dreams. He admitted that he wanted to kiss her, but he restrained himself. What he did was get up as quietly as possible and let her sleep. He went to the kitchen and began to prepare breakfast, despite the bad reputation that they have given him for not knowing how to cook. The truth is different if he knew how to cook, and according to those who have eaten his food they have said that he cooks delicious. So as I said, he started cooking. He made some coffee, he made fresh orange juice, some scrambled eggs, toast, cereal, and it occurred to him to make some pancakes with dulce de leche for his beautiful Miko-chan had finished making the pancakes and was filling them when she felt arms on her chest. Miko. How bad you are, Naruto, she said sleepily. Nara, why do you say that? I asked. Miko, because you took away my comfortable pillow and my blonde blanket, she said flirtatiously. Nara, well, I thought my girlfriend would want to have breakfast, and I got up to prepare something for her to have breakfast. I hope you don't mind, he said. Miko, not at all. I just wanted to enjoy more time sleeping in your arms and listening to your heart, Mikoto responded. Naru, I hope you like the breakfast I prepared, I commented. Miko, it looks delicious, my love, but something is missing here, she said. Naru, what am I missing, my love? He asked, worried. Miko, a delicious blonde that I want to be mine, she said with a flirtatious tone and that worrying shine in her eyes. He knew how to recognize that every time he had that sparkle in her eyes, she felt like an animal about to be caught. Mikoto looked at him amused and a beautiful smile emerged from her lips. He hugged her, and they kissed passionately. Then they had breakfast normally, if by normal you mean that your girl sits on your lap and feeds you. He could say that it was the most sensual breakfast of his entire life, at least until that moment, since later Mikoto has found much more sensual ways to eat breakfast, but I will tell you about that later. After breakfast she took a shower and then it was her turn. When he came out of the shower he found her sad. He looked at her, and he hugged her, and suddenly she started crying. Nara, what's wrong, Miko-chan? He asked. Miko, Nara said to him when she hugged him. He didn't understand what was happening, but he hugged her without further ado. Nara, Mikoto, what's wrong? Tell me, it hurts me to see you like this, she told him. Miko, Naruto, I don't want to leave your side. I don't want to go back to the damaged Uchiha mansion. And even less do I want to see the evil Fugaku, she said, crying into her chest. He hugged her tighter, and a great idea occurred to him. He separated from her and went to where the keys were de Ella and took one of the spare sets that he had and returned to his beloved de Ella, Miko-chan. Nara, here, Miko-chan, he said, handing her the keys. Miko, why are you giving me these keys? I asked her, confused. Nara, these keys are so you can enter and leave my house without problems, and as many times as you want, this me or not, he answered. She looked at him surprised, then hugged him, and then gave him a warm kiss. Miko, are you sure you want me to be able to enter and leave your house whenever I want? I asked. Nara, of course, my love, besides you already have some keys other than these, he said. Miko, which ones? I asked. Nara, the keys to my heart, Mikoto. which is all yours, he said, smiling. She hugged him and kissed him madly. Miko, I love you, I love you, I love you, he said between kisses. After a while of kissing, she sadly got up to return to being the devoted wife of Mikoto Uchiha. That bothered her, but before she left she had to clarify something. Mikoto, what am I to you? I asked seriously. Miko, the man of my life, Naruto answered and then kissed him. What kind of relationship do we have then? I asked. Miko, what a difficult question, but I know you want the truth and I will tell you, Naru. For me you are my boyfriend, the most wonderful man in the world, but in the eyes of the rest of the world you are my lover, said the latter sadly. He hugged her and looked into her eyes. Mikoto, I don't give a damn what other people think of me. If for them I'm your lover, I don't care. What matters to me is what you think of me, and if for you I'm your boyfriend, I'm happy with that, he said as he hugged her and pressed her against him and kissed her again. When they separated from that kiss, they looked into each other's eyes for a few minutes. No words were needed, just their looks were enough. She approached the door and he accompanied her. Miko, I don't want to leave, but I have to, she said sadly. Naru, I know, my love, but now you can enter my humble house whenever you want. By the way, my life, tomorrow I'm going on a mission for 2 weeks. I will miss you a lot, he said sadly. Miko, 2 weeks without seeing you, my love, he said sadly. Naru, do you know, if you want, why don't you come tonight to give you all my love so that you don't miss me so much, he said. That disturbing glow appeared on his girl again. Miko, I'll be here, my love, don't doubt it, he said with a very sensual tone. She left, and the day passed peacefully. Around noon, she went to see what she could prepare for dinner until it finally occurred to her to make a baked salmon with a salad. For starters, she thought of making some stuffed tomatoes, and for dessert, some strawberries with cream, and to accompany the dinner he bought a bottle of white wine. The dinner was nothing out of this world, but he would do his best to make Mikoto-like item. He spent half the afternoon in the kitchen preparing dinner and the other half organizing everything. He wanted it to be perfect. At 9 at night his beautiful Mikoto appeared. She entered with her own key. The table was with a white tablecloth and 2 candles. The table was ready. All that was missing was the guest and bringing the food from the kitchen. Miko, Naruto, are you waiting for someone? She said sadly. Naru, yes, Mikoto, I was waiting for you, so we could have dinner, he answered. She hugged him and gave him a kiss. Miko, you didn't have to bother, Naru, said Mikoto. Naru, it's not a problem. I'll be happy to do it if you give me a smile with this, he said smiling. She hugged him and kissed him again, this time more passionately. Miko, you will spoil me, Naru, she said flirtatiously. Naru, I don't care about my life, he answered and kissed her. Then he said, now my girlfriend will accompany me to the table. He guided her to the table. She sat down, and then he brought the appetizer. They were simple stuffed tomatoes. Miko, Naru, you didn't have to bother doing all this, he told her. Naru, I'll do it with pleasure, Miko-chan, he replied. They ate the starter, then went for the main course, which was baked salmon accompanied by a salad of various vegetables. Miko, who cooked this? It's perfect, Mikoto said when she tried the fish. Naru, I cooked it, Miko-chan, he told her. Miko, don't lie, Naruto, you couldn't have made this dish. It's too well made. Come on, tell me, which restaurant did you buy it in? She said incredulously. Naru, Mikoto, I already told you. I prepared it, he said annoyed. Miko, are you serious? I asked. Naru, yes, Miko-chan, I prepared it especially for you, since I once heard Itachi complain that you never found the salmon good the way they prepared it here in Konoha and that you really like salmon, so I wanted to surprise you, he answered. Miko, Naruto, you are an angel, but that's if you showed me how you did it, is that clear? She said seriously. Naru, of course, my love, I'll teach you, he said with a smile. She began to eat with delight the dinner he had prepared for her. She served him the white wine and luckily it went well with the fish. When they finished eating the salmon, she hugged him. Miko, you are an angel, my love. I won the lottery with you, he said. Naru, but dessert is still missing, my love, he said. Miko, did you also prepare a dessert? She said surprised. Naru, yes, but it's nothing special. It's something very simple, he said as he brought the strawberries and on one side a bowl with whipped cream and another with melted chocolate. She looked at him happily. She looked like a little girl who has brought her favorite sweet. She took a strawberry and passed it through the whipped cream. Narusei Mikoto-chan, I said. She opened her mouth and gave him the strawberry. He took a bite and for a strange reason, at least for him, he blushed. Then she gave him the strawberry and they stayed like that until the strawberries were gone. Then she hugged him very tightly. Miko, Naruto, you are unique. Today you surprised me. I don't know how to explain it, but today I love you more than yesterday, she said before kissing him again. Naru, that means that yesterday you loved me less, he said, pretending to be offended. Miko, yes, and today I will love you less than tomorrow. Because each day that passes I will love you more than the day before, Naru, he told him before kissing him. Naru, I will love you forever, Mikoto, and no one and nothing can separate me from you, he told her. She hugged him, then took his hand from her and led him to the bedroom. Miko, Naruto, I love you, she said before kissing him. Naru, I love you too, Mikoto, he responded before feeling her warm lips on hers. Lemon skip, please read it on website. After I caught my breath, I looked into his eyes. He looked happy. Miko, Naruto, I love you, she said before kissing him. Narute, I love Mikoto, look context. She smiled at him and closed her beautiful eyes before falling asleep. She stroked his hair on his chest and after a few minutes, he fell asleep. If it were a soap opera or a book like the ones Jiraiya writes, this would be the end. But unfortunately in real life happy endings come, but it is difficult for them to arrive. Chapter 6, Problems Arrive. First part. The next day Naruto had to get up early. He woke up at 6 for 5 minutes. He looked at Mikoto. She looked so tender and beautiful, asleep, resting her head on his chest. They were naked, and seeing her like that, so beautiful, tender, and sensual all at the same time made him feel in the clouds. He started to move her since he had to be at the Hokage's office at 8, but Mikoto hugged him. Miko, don't go, my love, she said half asleep. Naru, I don't want to leave my life, but I have to report to the Hokage at 8, he told him. Miko, I know, but I want to be by your side more. I don't want you to leave, she said looking into her eyes. Naru, Miko-chan said while stroking her hair. Miko, I won't let you get up until you make love to me, she said suddenly. He froze. Naru, but he said scared. Miko, do you not love me anymore? He said with a cute pout on his face, that dismantled any refusal on his part. He started kissing her and then they made love. It was something wonderful, but seeing the consequences of their act of love, perhaps they shouldn't have done it. After pleasing her beautiful Mikoto, he got up and went into the shower, but her saving spirit got low and she went into the shower with her. Obviously, since the shower was so small, they were very close together, and she took the opportunity to abuse him. Yes, like she heard it. Mikoto wanted to make love in the shower, which he did not refuse, although he liked to say that she abused him. At 7:30 he left his house heading to the Hokage's office with his ANBU uniform and his mask on. It was difficult for him to leave, especially when he saw how sad Mikoto was. That made him make a decision. At 8 o'clock he entered the Hokage's office. He was there serious as usual. As everyone was already gathered he began to talk. Sarutobi, as you know, Inu and Karasu are on a mission in the country of rivers. The 4 of you will go as support since the mission became complicated. The captain of this unit will be Weasel. Once you meet with Inu and Karasu's groups, you will know the specific details of the mission. Now leave, the Hokage ordered. He stayed there while the others left. Sarutobi, what's wrong, Kitsune? I asked him. Naru, I need to talk to you, Hokage-sama, he said. Sarutobi, Weasel, Kitsune will catch up with you as soon as possible, said the Hokage. The rest of his group left once alone. Well, Naruto, what do you need to tell me? He took off his mask and looked at the Hokage seriously. Naru, old man, I want to leave ANBU. I want this to be my last mission as ANBU, he said. Sarutobi, why, Naruto? You are one of the best Anbus in Konoha. There must be some reason, said the old Hokage. Naru, old man, I have a girlfriend, and today before coming here I could see the pain on her face when having to leave her alone. I don't want to return pain on her face. If necessary, I will give up my life as a shinobi for her. Also as an ANBU, if I die I will have a grave where she can visit me. She won't even know if I have died. For that and other reasons I want to stop being ANBU, he said. The old man looked at him seriously, but Naruto returned his gaze to him. Sarutobi, Naruto, I'm not sure about this, but I want you to think about your final decision until you return from this mission, said the Hokage. Naru, it's okay, but I doubt that my decision will change. Now with your permission I'm leaving, he responded while putting on his mask before going after his team. Half an hour later he arrived with his teammates. When Weasel arrived, who was none other than Itachi, he just looked at him and didn't say anything. He even increased his pace. He only knew that he was upset. He figured it was because he had argued with Kurenai, so he didn't take it into account and they continued walking. They stopped to eat something at noon, something simple and quick. Even at that moment he avoided him, which seemed strange to him, but he didn't take it very seriously. After that small snack they continued their march. In the middle of the afternoon, one of his companions approached him whose name key was Hebe. Hey Kitsune, do you know what's wrong with Weasel? She's been in a bad mood all day, said Hebe. Naru, I have no idea, Hebe. I imagine he argued with his girlfriend, he answered. I doubt it, since today I saw him saying goodbye to his girlfriend. Very sweet, Hebe answered. Naru, then I don't know what happened to him, he replied. Ida, Hebe, hurry up, you too, Kitsune. We're not here to talk, you understand, Kitsune, Itachi said, annoyed when he mentioned his code name. It was official, the thing was with Naruto. At the end of the day they arrived at Inu and Karasa's camp exhausted. Inu and Karasa took them to their tent to discuss strategy. Once inside, the two took off their masks. He took off his mask but Itachi kept it on. Shursui, come on Itachi, we are among friends, said Shursui, who was Karasu. Ida, I would do it if I were really among friends, but since not everyone present is my friend I don't have to take off my mask, Itachi said resentfully. Kakashi, who was Inu, and Shursui looked at each other in surprise. Kakashi, what do you mean, Itachi? Kakashi asked seriously. Ida, the thing is not with you, Kakashi or Shursui, Itachi said sharply. Naru, so the thing is with me, isn't it, Itachi? He simply looked away. Why don't you tell me up front what you have against me? He said, annoyed. Ida, so you want to know what I have against you, Uzumaki, right? He said, visibly annoyed. Naru, that's right, Itachi, I want to know what the hell is wrong with me. I haven't done anything to you? I answer, annoyed. Ida, are you sure you haven't done anything to me, Uzumaki? Itachi said sarcastically. Stop for a second, you two, Kakashi said, worried about the edges the thing was taking. Naru, no, Kakashi, I want to know what the hell is wrong with the man, he said sarcastically. Shursui quickly put a silencing seal, Kakashi ordered when he saw that apparently the thing was serious. Shursui didn't even argue, he just did what Kakashi asked. Ida, well, I'll tell you what bothers me about you, you damn bastard, he said furiously. Naru, well, go ahead and let it go. I bet you're jealous because I gave Kurenai a box of chocolates for her birthday, he said, annoyed. Ida, don't bring Kurenai into this, you evil-born bastard, she has nothing to do with it, Itachi said, even more annoyed. Shursui and Kakashi just watched. Naru, then tell me the hell I did to you to make you behave like an idiot, he replied. Ida, Kakashi, Shursui, don't trust this bastard. Do you know what I discovered this morning? Itachi said, annoyed. He had a vague feeling about Itachi's discovery of him. What did you discover, Itachi? Kakashi asked seriously. Ida, I'll tell you, last night my mother was not at home, my father is traveling, so I assumed he had gone out somewhere. But today when I got up to prepare for the mission, my mother was nowhere to be found, so before giving notice I decided to ask my best friend for help to look for her. When I arrived at my friend's apartment, I remembered that he is a heavy sleeper, so I went through his bedroom window to wake him up. But what I found when I got to the window, moans of a woman. Curious, I activate my Sharingan to see who was the girl who had made my friend fall. I wish I hadn't, because the woman who was moaning like a vulgar whore was my own mother, and not only that, she was almost shouting the name of her lover. Naruto is my mother's lover, Itachi said furiously. Shursui and Kakashi were speechless as Itachi looked at him through his mask with hatred. But now it was Naruto who was upset. Naru, to begin with, you damn bastard, Mikoto is not a whore, like the ones your father rolls around with. She is a lady, so you bucking respect her now. Mikoto is your mother. Of course, since the slave was not in the house to prepare breakfast for you, you worried. But at 2 or 3 in the morning you did not worry about Mikoto. Of course your mission, or your girlfriend is more important than she. As long as she is there to give you your food the rest of the time, you don't care what happens to her. You don't care that your bastard father cheats on her. You don't care that she feels alone. The only thing that matters to you, it's you and that your meals are served on time. You don't give a damn, Mikoto, I said furiously. Itachi delivered a strong blow to his stomach. Ita, don't call my mother by her name again. For you she is Uchiha-sama, bastard, Itachi shouted furiously. Naru, excuse me, Itachi-sama, but I called my girlfriend, or as you call her, my lover, what she asked me to do, and as long as she doesn't ask me otherwise I won't call her anything else. Tell me, Mr. Genius of the Uchiha clan, do you know who your dearest father's lovers are? Your damn bastard father, he said, annoyed, catching his breath. Ita, do not bring my father into all this, you damned, ill-born bastard, Itachi said when he was going to unleash another blow on his stomach, but he stopped him. Naru, I put him in because he is to blame for Mikoto being unhappy, he said furiously. Ita, you don't know anything about my bastard father, Itachi said. Naru, you're the one who doesn't know anything about your father. Do you know how many lovers he has? Do you know where he is right now? He asked. Ita, my father is a good man and he has no lovers. He is traveling in Kirigakure, Itachi said, annoyed. Naru, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Fugaku doesn't have lovers, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, he said, laughing like crazy. Ita, what do you know? Itachi said, annoyed. Naru, for your information, Mr. Genius, your father has at least 4 lovers, and I will name them for you. He has Mabuki Haruno, he has a girl from the Hyuga clan called Rei, he is also the lover of a girl from Kiri called Meitarumi, and he has also another girl from Suna. I think her name is Yukata, as you see, Mr. Genius. Your father is a damn bastard, but you're not doing that bad. Apart from Kurenai, you have affairs with Yugao and that girl from Suna, but I don't remember her name is Temari. But neither you nor your damn father cares about Mikoto. Would you like to know where I found her a couple of days ago at midnight? I'll tell you without you asking me. I found her in a square crying because your holy father had told her. She said that her lover was more of a woman than her. She wasn't hurt by your father's betrayal. She was hurt that your father made her look stupid. She was soaked, so I took her to my apartment, and there we confessed our love. I don't care. You won't be angry with me, but I love Mikoto like no one else, and I will do everything possible to make her happy, he said with conviction. Itachi remained crestfallen and silent. Naru, now if you'll excuse me, Kakashi, Shursui, I'm leaving. By the way, I want to be on your team, Kakashi, or Shursui. I don't want to continue the rest of the mission with an idiot like Itachi, he said, leaving the store. He walked away from the camp and reached some trees and began to hit a tree. He knew that the tree was not to blame for his frustration. Itachi, his great and best friend, had behaved like a huge idiot. Suddenly there was a presence behind him. Naru, what do you want, Shursui? He asked. Shursui, Naruto, you finally decided to tell Mikoto-sama what you felt, but you didn't think about the consequences, Shursui said calmly. Naru, didn't I think about the consequences? Don't be an idiot, Shursui. I know for more than 2 years that Fugaku cheats on Mikoto. If I had wanted to a long time ago, I would have broken the illusion of Itachi's happy family. But I saw Mikoto always happy. I didn't want to hurt her. I saw my great friend happy with her family, that I didn't want to hurt him. But that changed a few days ago when I found her crying soaked in a square at midnight. You don't know how it hurt me to see her in that situation. I almost had to drag her to my house so she wouldn't get sick, did she? Do you know what it's like to see the woman you love broken, crying in a lonely square while it rains? Then when she told me that she knew that my best friend's father was cheating on her, that when she reproached him he told her that her lover was more of a woman than her, do you have any idea how it broke my heart to see her crying inconsolably? And she was crying not because of her betrayal of Ella, but because the idiot made her look stupid. Even in that situation I wasn't going to tell him my feelings about her, she said with tears in her eyes. Shursui looked at him almost pitifully, then they sat on a nearby log. Shursui, so how did you end up, I asked him. Naru, how I ended up making love with Mikoto. Well, that day I found her after I convinced her to take a hot bath while I was making tea. She came out of the bathroom and ordered me to take a shower. You know that she is one of the there are few people who can send me around without having consequences. Shursui just smiled. I forgot my clothes, and she kindly went to look for clothes for me, and there she found a notebook where I wrote things that I thought about Mikoto, and I never told her. After that she confessed to me that she had loved me for some time and knew about my feelings towards her. But when she read part of the notebook she realized that what I felt was something very deep for her. I told Shursui. I don't know why, but I continued my story. Then last night I invited her to my house to say goodbye since it hurt her that I was away from her for 2 weeks. My intention was not to make love with her. My intention was a simple dinner. Nothing out of this world. After dinner one thing I took the other one, and we ended up doing it. But if you think I regret having given myself to Mikoto or having made her mine, you are wrong. Last night was the best night of my life, and I would give my life for Mikoto and her happiness. Shursui, I understand you, Naruto, but it won't be easy for you and her to be happy. Either Fugaku nor Itachi will take it well. They will make their lives miserable. They may even involve the entire Uchiha clan, said Shursui. Nary you think I don't know. For that same reason this is my last mission as a NBU, and if to be happy with Mikoto I have to give up being a shinobi, I will do it, he said with conviction. Shursui will stop being a NBU. You're crazy, Shursui said. Naru, no, I'm not crazy, Shursui. To give you an example, today Itachi was so upset that we did a day-and-a-half trip in one, and it was not by order of the Hokage but because he was angry with me. Tell me why the other members of the group have to pay for a problem between Itachi and me, and I'm sure it's just the beginning. I bet that as soon as Itachi arrives he will present a report saying that if something goes wrong everything will be my fault, and if not he will be in charge of finding something wrong and magnify it. That is why I want this last mission to be under your command or Kakashi's. Since it is my last mission I don't want problems, he said. Shursui looked at him surprised and at the same time curious. Shursui, Naruto, tell me the truth, is your love for Mikoto-sama true? He said seriously. Naru, of course it's true, and if I knew that I made her unhappy, even if it hurt me, I would step aside from her so that she would be happy. I'm willing to die for her, he responded. Shursui, Naruto, I see that what you feel is true and pure. You can count on my support. However, if Fugaku-san involves the clan there is very little I can do, and if he orders me to attack you I will have to do it. I want you to know if the situation arises, it's nothing personal, Shursui told him sadly. Naru, I know, friend, he said. After their talk they returned to camp. If I'm honest, the same talk he had with Shursui he would have loved to have had with Itachi, but it didn't happen and deep down he understood it. Chapter 7 Problems Come Second Part. He had to confess that those almost 2 weeks were a true hell. Despite not being on his team, Itachi did not miss an opportunity to make his life impossible. Those 12 days were atrocious. Itachi only wanted Naruto to attack him, in order to do so. It seemed like he defended himself at best, at worst making him look like a saboteur. Fortunately Kakashi and Shursui were there to prevent everything from going from brown to dark. The mission itself was a rescue of a merchant from a fortified post. Fortunately the mission was a success. And with that they returned home. He knew that his order had just begun, but he was willing to face it for Mikoto. Upon arriving at the village, Kakashi removed the rest. Only Itachi, Kakashi, Shursui and finally him were left as he had to give his answer to the Hokage. Upon arriving at the office, Kakashi insisted on talking with the Hokage first. He and Shursui, Naruto was outside on one side of the door, while Itachi was on the other side of the door. They did not speak or even look at each other. I have gotten lost. The complicity of friends. In other times they would have been joking, now there was only silence. First they called Itachi, then after 10 minutes they called him. Inside were Shursui and Kakashi next to the Hokage. Itachi was nowhere to be seen. Sarutobi, well Naruto, tell me, have you thought about your decision? Said the Hokage. Nary, yes, I have thought about my decision and I have decided to leave the ANBU hunters. After this mission my decision is more than firm, said Naruto. He took off his mask and left it on the desk. Sarutobi, Naruto, tell me something. Why did you fall in love with Mikoto Uchiha? The old Hokage told him. Naru, why not fall in love with the most beautiful woman in Konoha, the most intelligent, the most joyful? Her smile brightens my day, and old at heart is not in order. I tried to avoid it, I assure you, but I couldn't. Mikoto, stop. Mai is my everything, I replied. Sarutobi, do you realize that you will destroy a home if you continue with your relationship? The Hokage asked him. No, Fugaku already destroyed that home with his constant infidelities, and I have proof, he said. Sarutobi, what evidence? The Hokage said seriously. I take out a storage seal and apply some chakra to it. Some photos came out of the seal, all of which featured Fugaku Uchiha with different women. The Hokage and his friends were surprised. Sarutobi, Naruto, you realize that I can order you to leave Mikoto as Hokage, that I am, said the old man. Nary, yes, but if you order me that, I'll stop being a shinobi. I'm warning you, old man, neither you nor anyone else will be able to keep me away from Mikoto, I answer seriously. The Hokage looked at him seriously, and he could feel the serious gazes of Shursui and Kakashi. Sarutobi, I can also order you to destroy those photos, the Hokage told him. Nara, ha ha ha, tell me, old man, do you think I'm so stupid as not to take precautions? One of my invocations has the original ones, and if something happens to me, let's say Itachi tries to kill me, he said, looking towards a corner, that invocation will be in charge of delivering those photos not only of the Fire Lord but also of the Kazekage, since the girl from Suna with whom Fugaku has an affair is the daughter of the Kazekage, so you will know what that means. Relations between Konoha and Suna are going through a very bad moment, and I doubt the Kazekage would be happy to know that his daughter has something with a married man, much less someone from Konoha, much less Fugaku Uchiha, who killed the Kazekage's brother, he said. Sarutobi, you would be capable of putting Konoha into a war for a woman, the Hokage told him, annoyed. Nary, yes, I would be capable of that and more. For the woman I love, he said seriously, then added disappointment, I thought you would understand me, old man. I've known for a long time what Fugaku does, but out of respect for Mikoto, whom I always saw as happy, and out of respect for my friend Itachi, I didn't say anything, but after seeing Mikoto suffer, I don't give a damn if I have to kill everyone with. As long as she is happy, even losing my shinobi rank. And my best friends and the man I consider as a father, he said fiercely. Those in the office looked at him in surprise. Nara, now Itachi, after I come out, you can go out after my shadow and kill me and thus recover your farce, your happy family, and the slave you have in the Uchiha mansion. Forgive your mother, since for you and your father she is their slave. Goodbye, old man, tomorrow I will come to process my discharge as a Konoha shinobi, he said, and left the office. After a few minutes he arrived at his apartment. He was surprised that it was organized and everything was in its place. He just smiled and thought about Mikoto. He took off his clothes, took a towel and got into the shower. After a shower of about 20 minutes, since he needed to think, it hurts him to see that the people he loved, the old Hokage, Kakashi, Itachi and to a lesser extent Shursui, did not understand that he was in love. He left the bathroom and went to his bedroom and started looking for his clothes. When he looked for his underwear, he almost bled to death when he saw that the drawer where his underwear was usually kept was divided into two, and on one side were his clothes and on the other wore women's underwear. After recovering a little, he went to look for his clothes that he usually wears at home and found, in addition to his clothes, women's clothes. Suddenly, Naruto identified a dress. It was one of Mikoto's dresses of his. He went to the kitchen to make himself a sandwich or something else when he felt the front door open and slam it shut. He took a knife for safety and went to see who had entered. When he arrived at the small room, he saw Mikoto crying inconsolably. Nara, Mikoto, my love, what's wrong with you? He said cautiously. Miko, Naruto, she told him before hugging him and starting to cry even more inconsolably. I let her vent her sadness. He hugged her and caressed her hair. She cried for almost half an hour. After he calmed down a little, he dared to ask. Naru, what happened to you, Miko-chan? He asked cautiously. Miko, Naru, Itachi, knows, he said some horrible things to me. She told him, completely destroyed. Naru, what did that idiot tell you? I asked, annoyed. Miko, he told me that I was a shame for the clan, that how could he cheat on his father with a bastard like you, then he told me that I was a whore, and to get out of there, since I didn't deserve to be in a place like that sacred home, because I had defiled it with my degeneration by wallowing like a bastard. He told her, and then he started crying again. Then he continued telling him what had happened. Miko later, he told me that the only way I could regain his respect was to abandon you and beg Fugaku's forgiveness on my knees, since I had disgraced my marriage. I said I wouldn't leave you because I loved you. He went to the master bedroom and threw my things into the street. When I saw that, I just came here and forgot my things. He told her. Nara, don't worry, my love, don't worry, I will accompany you to look for your things, and if necessary I will defend you, he said seriously. The two left their apartment and went to look for their things. When they arrived in front of the mansion, they saw all of Mikoto's clothes lying on the floor. Itachi. They gathered their things and sealed everything in a storage seal so they could take everything in one trip. When they were done, Itachi appeared. Ida, I see you came to look for your whore Naruto's clothes, Itachi said fully. Naru, Itachi, don't insult your mother, he said, trying to bite back his anger. Ida, I don't have a mother. She died for me the day I found them wallowing in your pigsty that you call home, Itachi said hatefully. Naru, let's go, Mikoto. This idiot doesn't understand anything, he said to his pretty Mikoto. Then he turned to Itachi. I hope you leave us alone now that you kicked her out of this place. Because if you don't, Itachi, I will take care of ruining your life. Ita, you don't scare me, Uzumaki, he said arrogantly. Naru, well, you should, Uchiha, since I can completely ruin you. Remember mission 693. If I speak, you will sink more than a rock in the lake, and just so you know, I have enough evidence to prove it, so I hope you let us live in peace. If you ever regret your stupid actions, you know where I live, he said. He and Mikoto left there. After his threat, Itachi simply went into his house. The two were silent for a long time, then she decided to break the silence. Miko, Naruto, what happened in mission 693? I asked him. Naru, Mikoto, I can't tell you on the street, but I will tell you when I get to our home, I answer. Miko, okay, you know something, he said suddenly, smiling. Naru, what is it, my love? I asked curiously. Miko, in a way, I'm glad that Ida-chan knows that I love you. I didn't like the way he took it, but this way I feel better, and now I can live with you and be very happy, she said with a smile. Naru, I will make you the happiest woman in the world, Mikoto-chan, he told her. Without caring where they were, he hugged her and gave her a kiss. She blushed a lot. Miko, Naruto, you shouldn't have done it, she said, all red. Naru, why shouldn't I have done it? I can't show you how much I love you, he told her seriously. Miko, yes, but not here, he answered and pointed behind him. With a vague premonition, he turned and found that they were in front of the market at the busiest time of day. The only thing he wanted at that moment was for the earth to swallow him. Naruto had kissed Mikoto Uchiha, a married woman, on his mouth. Practically in front of the entire town, was more than red, and the only thing he managed to do was get out of there quickly. Mikoto followed him, and you couldn't tell who was redder, he or she. When he arrived at the apartment, he sat on the couch next to Mikoto, and suddenly she burst into laughter. Naru, what's so funny, Mikoto? He said seriously. Miko, well, your face, Naruto. You look like a ripe tomato, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, and your expression in the market is priceless, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Mikoto said, barely containing her laughter. Naru, yes, ha ha ha, very funny. Now because of me you will be in the mouths of the entire town, he said sadly. Miko, as you would say, my love, I don't give a damn what people think, I care what you think of me, she told him. Naru, but she put her index finger in her mouth. Miko, don't worry, Naru. The only thing you have to worry about now is me, she told him before starting to tickle him. Naru, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, from Miko. Mikoto, you're killing me, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, he said just because of the laughter that her tickling caused him. Naru, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, from Miko. Mikoto, you're killing me, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, he said just because of the laughter that her tickling caused him. Miko, I won't stop until you tell me what I want to know, she said, busy with her task of tickling him. Naru, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, I'll do it, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, I'll tell you whatever you want, ha ha ha, ha ha, but for Mikoto, Mikoto-chan, ha ha ha, he said, dying of laughter. Suddenly she stopped. And she looked at him seriously. Miko, well, to start I want to know about the happy mission 693, she said completely seriously. Naru, are you sure? I asked, worried. Miko, yes, was his brief response from her. Naru, okay. But keep in mind that you won't like what I'm going to tell you, he warned him. Miko, it's okay Naruto. I'm aware that I wouldn't like it because I just saw Ida-chan's expression of her to know that it's something serious at best, she told him. He looked into her eyes and could see that she was not going to tolerate a lie. He only sighed. Naru, well Mikoto, about a year ago Itachi and I were applying to be promoted to ANBU captain. Do you remember? She agreed. The litmus test was mission 693 where we had to carry it out and depending on the results we would be promoted or not. The mission itself was practically a routine, rescuing someone important from a fortified place. But it happened that Itachi, in order to stand out, launched the attack without a plan or anything, and the worst thing was without measuring the consequences. I don't know the reasons for Itachi's behavior. But the result was that Itachi was injured, and the worst thing we had to rescue was seriously injured. Upon knowing the consequences of his actions, Itachi began to regret it. He told me that he wanted his father to continue feeling proud of him, but after that failure his father would despise him. I simply told him not to worry, that I would solve everything, he said. Miko, how did you solve it, Naruto? Mikoto asked. Naru, when we arrived I gave the mission report, and he blamed me for the almost failure of the mission, and he was promoted to ANBU captain. I also gave a good amount of money to the guy we had to rescue so that he would keep quiet, he answered. Miko, it's not that I don't believe you, Naru, but how can you prove what you say, he said. Naru, go to the third drawer of that piece of furniture. I point out a small piece of furniture that is in the living room. Miko, you have a key, he told her. Naru, sorry, use the middle key, he said, handing him her keys. She opened the drawer and inside was a small box. She told her to bring her the box. She brought it. Naruto applied some chakra and the box opened. Inside there were a pair of bloody kunai. Naru, this is my proof, Mikoto. These kunai were extracted from the body of the subject we had to rescue. If you look carefully, these kunai do not belong to me but are ones that Itachi uses regularly. Plus his fingerprints are still there and the blood that covers the kunai are from the subject in question. Mikoto gave a sigh. Then he looked at her seriously again. Miko, why did you do it? She said, almost annoyed. Naru, firstly for my friend who did not deserve to suffer. Secondly for you because I did not want you to see Itachi suffer, said Naruto. Miko, Naruto, you are a good fool, she said with a smile. Naru, I don't know whether to take it as a compliment or an insult, he said smiling. Miko, well, even if you are a fool, you are my beautiful little fool, said Mikoto before kissing him. Naru, I love you, Mikoto, he said after kissing. Miko, now Naruto Uzumaki owes me a good explanation, she said seriously and looked upset. Naru, explanation of what, Miko-chan? He said scared. Miko, why didn't you tell me a long time ago that Fugaku was cheating on me? She said annoyed. Naru, how do you know? He said embarrassed. Miko, Itachi yelled at me when we started arguing. She told me how I could trust you. If you had hidden from me that her father was cheating on me, now explain to me, why didn't you tell me? I looked at him seriously, and seemed very angry. Naru, I thought you were happy, Mikoto. I didn't want to destroy your happiness. I didn't know that you were unhappy until I found you in the square that rainy day. If I had known before, I would have done everything possible for you to regain your happiness. I know that it sounds like a cheap excuse, but it's the truth, Mikoto. I apologize, He couldn't finish speaking because Mikoto silenced him with her lips. Miko, first and last time you hide something from me, Naruto Uzumaki, she said seriously. Naru, but he said. Miko, no buts, you always have to tell me the truth, otherwise you will see me very angry, she said threateningly. Naru, whatever you say, my love, he responded. Miko, I like it that way, now hug me. You had me for almost 2 weeks without feeling your hugs and you owe me many. And you owe me many more kisses, he said, putting on his best puppy face. And he also knew how to admit it. I missed hugging and kissing her. Chapter 8, A Surprise and a Betrayal. They spent the entire afternoon hugging and from time to time kissing. Around 6 o'clock. Their biological clock reminded them that they had not had lunch, since their stomach grew almost as loud as a lion. Mikoto, upon hearing her stomach, she couldn't help but laugh, and to get rid of the tickle torture he used to get information out of her, he started tickling her, and she couldn't stop laughing. He confessed that if there is a sound more beautiful than his Mikoto-chan's laughter, he didn't know it. Well, if there's one of those, just as beautiful, but I will tell you so as not to ruin the surprise later. After her revenge, which lasted a few minutes, since her mischievous Mikoto began to fight back by tickling her, after spending at least half an hour tickling each other and laughing like fools, they decided to stop. They looked at each other, and she told him that she was also hungry, and since they didn't want to cook, they decided to go eat out. They went to a not very elegant restaurant, but it was good. They entered and ordered a good dinner. They were talking happily when they entered the restaurant, none other than Mikoto Uchiha accompanied by the Hokage. Naruto was the first to spot them since Mikoto had her back to the entrance. She got up and went to the bathroom when the two approached. Sarutobi Naruto, good night, the Hokage told him. Naruto, Hokage-sama, what are you doing here? He asked kindly, but you could tell he was tense. Sarutobi, I came to have dinner with Fugaku since we have some things to talk about. And what are you doing here? He made you rest at home. Old Sarutobi responded. Naruto, well, what happens is that I came to dinner with someone, he said nervously. It seems that Kami-sama enjoys making him suffer since just at that moment Mikoto was leaving and ran into both men practically face to face. Miko. I'm here, my love, Mikoto said happily. But all her happiness vanished when she saw her husband and the Hokage. What are you doing here, woman? Fugaku said, annoyed. Neru, I invited her to dinner. There's some problem, he said, very annoyed. If she is my wife, and her place is in her house, not here with a boy, Fugaku said seriously. Neru. True, her place in his house, her as his slave, and that of his son, the almighty Itachi Uchiha, he said with contempt. How dare you, brat? Fugaku said, trying to hit him, but I stopped the blow. Miko. Naruto, let's get out of here, the black-haired girl asked kindly. Neru, okay, Mikoto-chan. Old man, I will go tomorrow around 9. Mikoto will accompany me since we want to process some things. I hope that Mr. Fugaku is present since they also concern him. At that moment his request was arriving. Neru, excuse me, but we are not going to eat that. There are people who are annoying to the lady and me, said the blonde, looking at Fugaku, who was looking at him with a lot of hatred with his Sharingan activated. Neru, here is our order, said the blonde, leaving the money on the table. Waiter, sir, if you like, we can pack your order and deliver it to you so you can take it. Just wait a minute, the waiter said kindly. The Hokage walked away with Fugaku, and after a minute, the waiter came to their table with their packaged order. Neru. Thank you very much, the blonde said to the waiter. Waiter. Don't thank me, sir, and I hope you come back soon, the waiter told him while bowing. The way back to Naruto's house was very silent. Neither of them dared to say the first word, until Mikoto stopped. Our dear blonde at the same moment stopped, and she started to cry. Neru, what's wrong, Mikoto-chan? Said the blonde. Miko. Naruto was all she said, hugged him and started crying on her shoulder. Neru, calm down, my love, he said kindly, and trying to hide the anger he felt at that moment against Fugaku. After a few moments Mikoto calmed down, hugged her, and the two of them returned to the hugging house. At Naruto's house. Once inside the house it was like magic. She changed her sad face into a happy one. He took the food that had been wrapped for them in the restaurant, and she went to the kitchen to heat and serve the food. From the kitchen she asked him to play music. He played romantic music that began to flood her small apartment. After about 10 minutes Mikoto came with the dishes served. He looked at her very seriously. Narumiko-chan, why didn't you tell me to help you bring dinner? Said the blonde very seriously. Miko, because I wanted my boyfriend not to work, and it's the least I can do for the man who loves me and defends me, the black-haired woman told her with a smile. That smile would disarm any response or any complaint on his part. The two tied quietly. After dinner she took his hand from her and guided him to the living room, where in a small space that was left she hugged him. And then to the rhythm of the music he began to move. Miko, aren't you planning to accompany me to dance? She said seriously. Neru, well, what's happening, Miko-chan, is that, she was trying to say. The truth was that he didn't know how to dance and he didn't want her to know that. But she looked at him seriously and directly into her eyes, as it bothered her that he looked seriously and directly into her eyes, since he cannot lie to her or hide anything from her. Miko, what's wrong, Naruto Uzumaki? She said with her penetrating gaze. Naruto swallowed hard. It was time for her to know her most hidden secret. "Nare, the truth is, Miko-chan," he began to say. "Miko." "Yes," she said without taking her eyes off her. "Nare, the truth is that I don't know how to dance," he said, all embarrassed. She looked at him and suddenly started laughing. "Nare, you laugh at me," he said seriously. "Miko, no. No. Ha ha ha, it's not that, ha ha ha, it's just, ha ha ha, funny, that, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. That you don't know, ha ha ha, dance," he said. He went to sit on the couch. Offended, she approached him, then sat next to him, hugged him, and then kissed him. "Miko, don't worry, my love, I will teach you how to dance, and it is your obligation to learn, too," he told her. "Nare, can I know, why is it my obligation to learn?" he said, annoyed. "Miko, it's obvious, Nare-kun, that it's your obligation," she suddenly blushed, but continued. "Miko, since when we get married you have to ask me to dance, and I also want us both to dance all night at our wedding," told him with a beautiful smile that he couldn't resist, and gave her a kiss. After separating from the kiss, she got up and began to teach him how to dance. He knew how to say that at first he was stomping her feet, but she patiently didn't say anything. After 2 or 3 songs, the stomping began to decrease. After 20 minutes, she could dance with her beloved. Mikoto, without having stepped on her even once, she put her head on her shoulder, and so they were dancing while the music didn't stop. Suddenly she saw him and told him that she wanted to go to sleep. He followed her obediently. They went to bed. Nothing happened that night, they just slept. The emotions of that day were many. The next day they got up early since they had to be at the Hokage's office at 9. At 8:30 they left the house and went to the old man's office. Upon arriving he noticed that there were more guards than normal. Something told him that the old man was expecting the worst. They knocked on the door, and from inside the old man told him to come in. He grabbed Mikoto's hand and squeezed it a little hard. He wanted her to feel safe. She looked into his eyes and he just smiled at her. With a sigh they entered the office from the Hokage. Fortunately, Fugaku had not arrived yet. "Sarutobi, good morning, Mikoto and Naruto," he said seriously. Naruto didn't like that. The old man looked serious, very serious. He knew him too much. He was upset, very upset, and he was making superhuman efforts to control himself. "Sarutobi, before you start talking I want you to listen to me carefully," the Hokage began to say. He didn't like that at all, but they both agreed. "Sarutobi, first of all I want you to know that even though I don't like their relationship at all," Mikoto squeezed his hand from him. "Sarutobi, I must say that I respect your decision, however I want one thing to be clear." They both looked at him. "Sarutobi, I want you two to be happy, Mikoto," and he widened their eyes in disbelief. "Sarutobi, yes, what you heard, Mikoto. I always assumed that your marriage was not happy, that you hid your sadness under an eternal smile. But last night when we ran into each other by chance at the restaurant, I was able to see you happy for the first time in many years. Of course that your happiness was ruined by me and Fugaku. But that brief flash of happiness was enough to realize that although I do not consider their relationship correct, I am no one to prevent it. Now your Naruto, my dear and empty-headed Naruto." Mikoto, no, he was able to hide a small smile. "Sarutobi, Naruto, I am happy that you can finally be happy with the woman you love. I must admit that when the rumor began to spread that you did not like women I was worried. But then when you clarified to me that you were in love with an older woman and that for with respect to her, you didn't do anything with your girlfriends, I must admit that I was surprised, so I called my best spy to find out who was that mysterious woman." Which made the hyperactive Naruto Uzumaki unable to fall in love with anyone else. He and Mikoto blushed. The old man smiled before drinking some water. "Nare, wait a minute, old man, your best spy. Did you send Shursui to investigate me?" he said, annoyed. "Sarutobi, that was my intention, but that scoundrel knew about your love for Mikoto and told me what he knew, that he had discovered it by chance one day when he went to visit you and that you tried to hide a notebook. He waited for the opportunity. And he read about 2 pages and deduced the rest," answered the Hokage. "Nare, that nosy, voyeurist of secret notebooks," said he, annoyed. Mikoto and the Hokage couldn't hide their laughter. After a couple of minutes laughing at his ribs, the old man continued. "Sarutobi, Naruto," the Hokage began to say, recovering his serious tone, "things are going to be complicated for you too. Naru, I know I'm old and that's why I want to stop being a ninja, because in the worst case the council can force you to make me leave Miko-chan and I'm not going to allow it. Being a civilian I can do whatever I want. Secondly, Mikoto-chan is accompanying me because she wants to start processing her divorce, he said seriously. Sarutobi Naruto, I want you to understand one thing. If you are a ninja, it is true I can force you to leave Mikoto. She and he became sad. Sarutobi, however, you are also under my protection, and as long as you are a ninja, the Uchiha clan cannot touch you or Mikoto. That was a low blow. Sarutobi, I know that you are one of the best umbus that exists in the village, but I know that you don't want to continue being that way, so I can offer you a way out. Become Jounin Sensei, the Hokage told him. I really didn't expect that, and I was surprised. Sarutobi, now as for the divorce, I can start the procedures. That's where the Hokage spoke. Since there was a knock at the door, he allowed the knocker to enter. At that moment Fugaku entered and looked at him seriously, accompanied by Itachi, who looked at him with contempt. Well, Hokage-sama, I will be brief, because I have many things to do for the Uchiha clan, said Fugaku. Sarutobi. Okay, this is Fugaku, said the Hokage. To begin, here are the exiled documents of Mikoto Uchiha from the prestigious Uchiha clan. From this moment until her death she is prohibited from approaching Uchiha territory, unless it is by express and written order from her Hokage-sama or mine or the leader of the clan to succeed me, said Fugaku, handing several papers to the Hokage. The Hokage reviewed the documents, one by one, then he simply took out a stamp and began to stamp the stamp on each document, and added his signature. Mikoto was more than surprised, and he still did not understand the scope of all that. When I finished ringing and signing the documents, I handed 2 documents back to Fugaku. Well, that's the first thing. Now the next thing, here are the documents for the divorce to become effective. I want to be free of her as soon as possible, since she is useless, said Fugaku. The fury boiled in him, and all he wanted was to hit him because he dared to insult his Deella Mikoto-chan Deella. But Mikoto grabbed his hand Deella and shook her head. He had no choice but to obey her. Also, here is a financial compensation that, although it is not deserved, I will give it to Mikoto, as long as Uzumaki does not make public the photographs he has of me, said Fugaku, handing over a document with a deposit of money. Naru, I will not make the photographs public if you agree in front of Hokage-sama, and in writing that you and the Uchiha clan will leave us alone. If you do not comply, I will make the photos public, said Naruto. Ha ha ha, ha ha Uzumaki, how funny you are. You look more like a Hyuga than an Uzumaki, ha ha ha. But I'll give you the pleasure, it's more useful to me too. If those photographs are published I can do whatever I want with you, ha ha ha, Fugaku answered. Naru, I keep what I promise, and so you can see that I'm not lying, he said when taking out a storage seal and taking the blessed photographs. Naru, old man, can I borrow your lighter? Said the blonde. The Hokage let him his lighter that he had for her pipe. He took the photos and burned them completely. Fugaku simply agreed. I see that you have honor, Uzumaki, something rare in these times, said Fugaku. The Hokage drafted the document in which it was stipulated that the Uchiha clan was not going to bother them, then Fugaku signed it without further ado. Sarutobi, well, Mikoto, if you are so kind as to sign the divorce papers, it will become effective immediately, said the Hokage. Mikoto approached the desk and signed the document. Miko, Hokage-sama would like your permission to go to the Uchiha mansion to look for a couple of things that still remain there, said Mikoto once she finished signing. Sarutobi, of course. Fugaku, do you have any problems? Said the Hokage. Obviously not. The sooner I get all his things out, the sooner I can bring a real woman who is worthy of the Uchiha clan, said Fugaku. That was too much, but again Mikoto grabbed her hand and shook her head, reluctantly obeying her. Well, since I've finished my business, I have to go here. Let's go, Itachi, Fugaku said, looking happy. Fugaku was leaving with a big smile, while Itachi looked at them with hatred. Ita, now you must be happy, Uzumaki. You destroyed my family, he said hatefully. Miko, Itachi-chan's daughter Mikoto. Ita, shut up, you damn whore, said her with hatred and fury. Itachi suddenly took out a kunai and threw it at Mikoto. He quickly put himself up as a shield to protect his Miko-chan from him. The kunai stabbed deeply into his back. But what the hell did you do, Itachi? Fugaku shouted. Miko Naruto-chan ger Mikoto. Sarutobi Ambu's arrested Itachi Uchiha Hokage ordered. Naru. Don't worry, Mikoto-chan, I'll be fine, he said. Slowly, his eyes became heavier than normal, and he closed them. Miko, don't close your eyes, my love, Mikoto told him. The last thing he remembered was a large amount of noise, then he didn't know what happened. Chapter 9 Awakening. He didn't even know how long he was unconscious. A few minutes, a few hours, a few days, he didn't know clearly. The only thing clear was that when he opened his eyes he found a white ceiling, a bed that wasn't his, and a smell that was not his. It was neither the ramen nor the perfume of his Miko-chan. After paying more attention, he recognized the place. He was neither more nor less than in the Konoha hospital. Suddenly he felt something move on the side of his bed. That something suddenly gave a yawn that seemed familiar. He looked in the direction of the yawn and saw that there. Mikoto was very pretty, as beautiful as usual. Miko Naru? She said, half asleep. Yes, Mikoto-chan, he answered. Naruto, 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 Mikoto said, hugging him tightly and crying on his shoulder. He caressed her hair while she cried, although where her wound was hurt like hell, but she hardened. At that moment a nurse came in. Mrs. Uchiha, you can let go of your boyfriend. The wound has not completely healed and can reopen, the nurse told her, annoyed. The nurse's attitude caught his attention from her, but what Mikoto would say next caught his attention from her more. Excuse me, Naru-chan, as for you, Miss, the miss said it sarcastically. Seeing that my fiancé had woken up made me excited because he will be able to leave here, so I couldn't help but hug him, Mikoto said fiercely. It seems that while he was unconscious some things had happened, as the two women looked at each other with anger at best. Mrs. Uchiha, could you retire to perform some tests on Naruto-kun? The nurse said. I don't think so. Naruto has nothing that I haven't seen before, so I'm staying, and I'm not going to leave my fiancé with any abusive bitch, especially now that he's weak to defend himself. Miko-chan responded, more than annoyed. There was definitely a catch here. I remind you, Mrs. Uchiha, the annoying nurse began to say, that according to the procedures established by the director of the hospital and approved by the council and the Hokage, that examinations on patients admitted to the hospital must be performed by duly qualified personnel, a ninja doctor or, failing that, a nurse. In the patient's room and only with the attendance of the treating doctor, and or the designated nurse, and the patient's family and friends must wait outside, the nurse concluded with an air of superiority. Miko, yes, but according to the same procedures manual, if the patient's immediate family member, called parents, siblings, wife, and in case of absence of the former, grandparents, cousins, uncles, or fiancé, they can request that the exams be performed by a staff trusted by the patient and or family members, answered his Miko-chan. Are you implying that I can't take the exams? Or is she implying that I am incompetent? The nurse asked furiously. Miko, I'm saying that I won't let a man-eater like you get close to my fiancé, or you need a drawing to understand it, stupid, Mikoto said furiously. What did you call me, old? I'm one of the best nurses in Konoha, so I'll do those exams, the nurse answered, annoyed. Miko, stay away from my Naru-chan, you bitch, Mikoto responded. Naruto was honestly confused. That's when another nurse came in. He just shook his head and approached his bed. I see you woke up. Let me do some tests so I can discharge you, the girl said kindly. Naru, sure, but could you explain to me what's going on with them? He asked the new nurse. You see, Naruto-san, the girl began to say while she put a thermometer in her mouth and took her blood pressure. When you arrived, Natsumi was assigned as your nurse. However, the girl stopped for a moment to prepare to take a blood sample. Natsumi has always been in love with you, Naruto-san, but she was too shy to tell you. When she saw you unconscious, she couldn't resist kissing you, and just at that moment Mikoto-san came in. Since that day they haven't stopped arguing, she finished, explained the girl. Naru, how many days have I been here? He asked. 4 days, Naruto-san. By the way, my name is Rei Nagisa. Well, that's all, said the girl, now called Rei, with a smile. Naru, thank you, Rei-chan, he said with a smile. Rei blushed, but at that moment Naruto felt two great killer instincts watching him. He turned his head and met the cold gazes of his Mikoto-chan and nurse Natsumi. Rei, seeing her predicament, simply began to leave. "Rei Natsumi, go back to your rounds, otherwise the director will scold you again," said Rei seriously. The nurse came out reluctantly. That calmed him down very little, but very little, since his pretty Mikoto stayed in the room, who was more than upset. She was furious. "Miko, what does this flirting with that nurse mean?" Her Miko-chan asked her, annoyed. "Naru, what are you flirting with Miko-chan?" "I just thanked him for giving me the exams," Naruto replied, confused. I look into his eyes, searching for some degree of lie. Honestly, he still didn't know how he did it to know if she was lying to him or not. "Miko, I believe you, my love," she said. I breathed a sigh of relief. "Naru, Miko-chan, what happened during my stay in the hospital?" he asked her. Now she was the one who sighed. "Miko, things have been busy, Naru," was what he said. "Naru, what do you mean?" he asked, even more confused. "Miko, it's simple, Naru. Itachi-chan's attack has caused a lot of things. Firstly, the Hokage is furious, because Itachi-chan attacked me in his office, which, as you know, is a serious crime. Secondly, the Hokage is waiting to know if you live or die, since depending on that the charge of murder or attempted murder can be attached to Itachi-chan, which, as you know, would increase the chances of Itachi-chan being executed. I have tried to convince Hokage-sama to forgive Itachi-chan, but as you know, what he did is very serious." "Naru, but your father, hasn't he done anything?" he asked. "Miko, Fugaku and the entire clan are trying to ensure that Itachi-chan is not sentenced to public execution," Mikoto answered. She was visibly devastated. It didn't take a genius to realize that she was devastated. Even though Itachi had been acting like an idiot lately, he was still her son. "Naru, don't worry, Miko-chan, I'll talk to the old man and convince him not to do anything to Itachi," he said, trying to encourage her, although the truth was that he found it very difficult. Just at that moment the Hokage came in. When he saw him awake, you could see in his face that he was happy. "Sarutobi, Mikoto, I need to talk to Naruto. You can wait outside and try not to argue with the nurses, please," the old man said kindly. "Miko, yes, Hokage-sama. See you later, my love," she told him before giving him a tender kiss and leaving. The Hokage waited for her to come out and placed a silencing signal. "Sarutobi, well, Naruto, how do you know what Itachi did has no name and even less justification," the old man said bluntly. "Naru, well, old man, I'm sorry to disagree, but the truth is, Itachi did have a justification," he answered. "Sarutobi, how do you say, Naruto?" "Explain," the Hokage said, surprised. "Naru, well, old man, Itachi from my point of view is a fool, but before being a fool he is my friend, and the reason why he did what he did is that he does not want to lose his family, despite being an ANBU captain. Being a respected jounin and considered a genius, the truth is that Itachi is still an immature young man in some things. The first, Itachi does not know what frustration is. They have always given him what he wanted, especially his family, and now overnight he discovers that his best friend and his mother are boyfriends. Lovers, whatever you want to call him, and in the worst way possible, he told her. "Sarutobi, how did Itachi know?" asked the Hokage. "Naru, you don't know?" he asked. "Sarutobi, no, I don't know," the old Hokage replied. "Naru, the day we went on the mission, Mikoto-chan stayed with me at my house the night before, not finding her at home. Itachi went to my house to ask me for help to look for her, and he went through the window of my room and you surprised us. You know," he said, all red. "Sarutobi, I understand," was the old man's comment with a small perverted smile. "Naru, as you understand, it was not the best way to discover our relationship," he said. "Sarutobi, you're right, but you still should have thought things through," the Hokage told him calmer. "Naru, maybe, but tell me the truth, old man, and don't think as a shinobi but as a person. What would you have done with Itachi's age, if you discovered what Itachi discovered, and the way he discovered it? Also add that when he came back from school mission, his mother tells him to divorce his father. The psychological pressure that Itachi was suffering was enormous. If anything was certain for him, it was his family. He saw it crumbling in front of his eyes, and on top of that he sees how his father does nothing to keep his mother. How would you have reacted?" he told her. The old man thought about it for a few moments. "Sarutobi, you're right, Naruto, but I can't forgive him so easily," the old man told him. "Naru, if you want you can, old man," Naruto answered him. He stared at her with a grim expression. Sarutobi, however, he must receive some punishment, he told him seriously. Neri, yes, it's true, but I don't want it to be capital punishment. You can't afford to kill one of your best ANBU, much less the firstborn son of the head of the Uchiha clan. Man, I know I'm asking a lot, but I want to talk to Itachi. With you present as a witness, I know that we will no longer be friends. But I want to make him understand that despite what he thinks, I do love Mikoto-chan, Naruto told him. Sarutobi, okay Naruto, we will go talk to him when you get out of here. But yes, he will receive some punishment, the old man told him seriously. Neru, I agree, but it will not be imprisonment, or removing him from ANBU. He is an excellent member of ANBU and it would be a waste to remove him from there, Naruto replied. The old man gave a sigh. Sarutobi, okay, Naruto, it will be as you say, the Hokage finally said, defeated. Neru, tell me, old man, and I want the truth, why did Fugaka suddenly decide to be so generous with Mikoto-chan? I ask him seriously. Sarutobi, the truth, Naruto, a long time ago Fugaka had told me that he wanted a divorce from Mikoto, but he didn't want to process it because he believed that Mikoto loved him. Even though he didn't love her, he thanked her for giving him a great son like Itachi, whom he always, as you know, he has been proud, said the Hokage. Neru, I know and I understand. Now I want to know, has Mikoto-chan spoken to Fugaka? Naruto asked her. Saru, in fact, yes, in this same hospital they had a long talk and in the end they remained friends, since what unites them is Itachi, and they both love him very much, the old man explained. Neru, did you both talk to Itachi? He asked. Saru, yes, they did it, said the old man. The old man deactivated the signal. That's when Tsunade, the medical ninja of the Umbus, came in. She came with an unfriendly face, which for all the Umbus was bad news since everyone had at some point come into her terrible hands. He still remembers the time she arrived with a broken arm. She healed it quickly, but then she broke it again. When she found out how she broke her arm, falling asleep from a tree. Well, you've given me a lot of headaches, Naruto. Thank you that I feel in a good mood, Tsunade said seriously. Neru, in a good mood as he will be when he is in a bad mood, he said without thinking. Tsunade gave him a royal blow on the head. The old man, who knew Tsunade's reputation, simply backed away. Tsunade. Thank you, you ungrateful bastard. I want you to get out of here. Otherwise I would break every bone in your body, Tsunade told him threateningly, and with very little patience. Naruto swallowed hard. Neru, why? Why do you want me to leave, Tsunade? Naruto asked her as kindly as he could. Tsunade, it's a joke, right? I asked him with an unfriendly face. Neru, I woke up a few minutes ago so I don't know what happened, I answer. She gave a sigh. Tsunade, I want you to get the hell out of there if my hospital is calm again, she said, annoyed. Neru, but I haven't done anything, he told him. You're not an idiot, your girlfriend, Mikoto, doesn't stop arguing with all the nurses I send to examine you. She even fights with Natsumi and Reiko, said Tsunade, annoyed. He was surprised. Mikoto, his sweet Ella Mikoto, fighting with some nurses. He couldn't believe it. Her face, Ella must have given away what she was thinking. Believe it or not, you idiot, Mikoto hit 2 of my nurses. Even before she had Itachi and became the tender housewife you know, she was known as the Kushina of the Uchiha, and when she joined Midori Inuzuka and Hitomi Yuhi, Tsunade and Kushina's daughters told them, no one messed with them. It fills me with pride to say that I was their sensei, Tsunade said proudly. Naruto, for his part, swallowed hard. If Miko-chan was from Tsunade's lunatic team, Naruto didn't even want to imagine her anger at her. A great shiver ran down his spine and he immediately made a mental note, never make his Mikoto angry. Chan, it's a shame that from time to time Naruto forgets that mental note and ends up getting beaten up. At that moment Mikoto entered. Miko, can Neru-chan leave, Tsunade-sensei? Said Mikoto when she saw Tsunade. Tsunade. Yes, Mikoto, you can take the idiot, and the next time you hit one of my nurses I will hit you, Tsunade said threateningly. Miko, but Tsunade-sensei, those prostitutes offered were about to overdo it with Naruto-chan. I couldn't allow them to kiss him while he was unconscious. Besides that prostitute, Natsumi, all she wanted was to grape my innocent Neru, said her Miko-chan. Tsunade, whatever Mikoto, now you can take that airhead. Look, I don't want to see him here again soon, so take care of him, understand? Tsunade said seriously. Miko, yes, sensei. I will take good care of my sweetheart, said Mikoto-chan like a child with a new toy. Tsunade, as for you idiot, if you hurt Mikoto, I will personally make sure that you have to eat for the rest of your life through a tube, Tsunade told him threateningly. The crazy Tsunade left the room. The Hokage looked at her funny and left, while her Deella Mikoto-chan gave her clothes to get dressed, and she stayed, according to her, to prevent perverted nurses from entering, but she more than watched the room door. She was watching him, and that lustful shine in her eyes. Deella appeared. She devoured him with her sight of Ella, and he just smiled at her. When he finished dressing, she hugged him and kissed him. Then the two left the room where the Hokage was waiting for them. Saruel, before you go back to your apartment, I want you two to accompany me first to fulfill what Naruto asked of me, and then to my office since I have to deliver some things to Mikoto and you too, Naruto, said the old man kindly. There is some things for me? He asked strangely. Sorry, yes, but when we get there I'll tell you, said the old man. Naruto put the conversation aside since he knew that the old man would not tell him anything. The two walked slowly to where the prison where Itachi was being held was. Then the Hokage and Naruto headed to Itachi's cell. The old man entered first. Ida, good morning, Hokage-sama. How has everything been? Is Naruto saved? Itachi asked seriously. Saru, Itachi, Naruto was saved, so you can rest easy on that side, said the Hokage. Ida, I'm glad. I never thought I would protect my mother like that. In fact, I believe that my father would protect her, even that she would avoid the kunai. I never imagined that Naruto's baka would get in the way, Itachi said sadly. Then I add a little more lively, you have to see that weeds don't die. Ha ha ha. The Hokage joined in Itachi's laughter. Nero, what weed? Itachi, Team Naruto said, entering the cell annoyed. Ida, I take back what I said. Weeds don't die, Naruto Dobe. You weren't even a week in the hospital and you're fine now. That proves my point, Itachi answered. Nara Team, he said, annoyed. Ida Dobe, he said with his classic calm tone. Nra Team, Naruto told him, approaching him. Ida Dobe, he said, and suddenly hugged him, then said, I'm glad you're okay, Naruto. Nara, thank you, Itachi, Naruto replied, surprised. Ita, Naruto, I apologize for what I did. I have no excuse, Itachi said sadly. Nara, don't worry, Itachi. I'm the one who should apologize to you, said Naruto. Ida, you? Why? Itachi asked. Nara, simple. I should have told you what I felt about your mother. But I was a coward. I didn't want to lose you as a friend. And I always saw Miko-chan happy, so I had decided to stay alone and never tell my feelings to anyone. But on the day that I met Mikoto-chan in the park, and after our conversation, I realized that I had a small chance with her, and I didn't want to miss it, and again my fear of losing my best friend prevented me from telling you the truth right away. That's why I apologize, said Naruto, kneeling in front of Itachi. He looked at him surprised, the same as the Hokage. Ita, you have nothing to apologize for, Naruto. I knew a long time ago that my family was a lie. But I refused to see the truth. This time in prison has helped me see things from another point of view. It's a shame that I don't have much life left to fix my mistakes, Itachi said. Saru, in fact, Itachi, Naruto did not press charges against you and asked me personally and strongly not to remove you from ANBU and even less imprison you, said the Hokage. Itachi looked at the Hokage and then at Naruto in disbelief. Saru, however, your actions deserve punishment, and since Naruto has been the most affected by this situation, he asked to be the one to give you the punishment, said the Hokage. Itachi looked into his eyes and immediately knew that Naruto was planning something bad for him. Ida, Hokage-sama, I prefer death. It will be less embarrassing than whatever the Dobe has planned, Itachi said, scared. Naru, Itachi-chan, I have matured. I will not do anything to you that you would not do to me, said Naruto with a sadistic smile. They would wonder why his sadistic smile. The reason was simple. This would be his little revenge for when he chose his punishment when he made a mistake when they were both Chunin. The very unfortunate gave him the punishment of walking the dogs of the Inuzuka through the park. He was happy because the punishment was simple. What the unfortunate man did not tell him was that he unleashed 20 cats in front of the dogs. Naruto ended up all scratched, bitten and rolled around due to the fight that the damn animals formed, and on top of that, he took photographs of the painful state that Naruto was left in. Today was the day of his revenge for him, and he would make sure that he would enjoy it. Ida Hokage-sama, it wouldn't be better to stay detained for life. I even prefer the death penalty, Itachi said, scared. Naru, calm down, Ida-kun, I won't do anything bad to you. At least I won't, Naruto said enigmatically. Ida, I remind you that I am allergic to dogs, and walking the Inuzuka dogs could cause me a severe allergic reaction, Itachi said, defending himself. The Hokage watched their talk with amusement. Naru, who was talking about dogs? Your punishment will be to teach at the Ninja Academy, said Naruto. Ita, that's all, Itachi said, giving a sigh of relief. Naru, no, that's not all, Naruto said. Itachi immediately turned pale. Naru, you will teach for 3 months wearing the same type of clothing that guy wears, and so you can see that I don't hold a grudge against you. It will be pink, Naruto said. Ita kui, Itachi shouted. The Hokage was almost dying of laughter. Ida, I'm not crazy about doing that, said Itachi. Naru, look, I'm being generous just for Miko-chan, since I had planned to give you the punishment for a year, wearing guy's haircut and in underwear, said Naruto. Itachi looked at him with a twitch in his right eye. Look, so we can make the deal. What if instead of pink, it's the same color as guy's, or orange? The twitch in Itachi's right eye increases. It's that, or take all the weapons for the rest of your life. Missions to catch Tora the cat. Ita, that's abuse, Itachi said, annoyed. Naru, abuse? You threw a kunai at me in the Hokage's office, not counting the time with the Inuzuka dogs when we were chunin, nor the time you threw a water balloon at the teacher and blamed me, nor the time I reached for, say Naruto. Ita, yes, I understood the point. I owe you a lot and you are being generous, said Itachi. Naru, exactly, Naruto answered with a smile. Ita, how many years does Tora have left to live? Itachi asked. Tora is a special breed of cat. It belongs to a very long-lived breed. Tora on the lower part has about 25 years of life left, the Hokage answered. Ita, 25 years, compared to 3 months, the choice is difficult, Itachi said thoughtfully. Naru, don't worry, Itachi, you will only teach the kids in the last 2 years of the academy, not the first years, said Naruto. Ita, okay, Naruto, I'll teach the blessed classes, Itachi said, defeated. Naru, that's great, I know you'll enjoy it, Naruto said innocently. Ita, but I'll get even. I remind you that I am your ANBU captain, Itachi said maliciously. Naru, I have bad news for you, Itachi, I am no longer ANBU, now I am Jounin Sensei, Naruto said proudly. Itachi grabbed the Hokage and took him to a corner. Ita, Hokage-sama really believes that it is a good idea to leave Naruto in charge of some recently graduated youngsters? It's almost the same as leaving them in charge of that perverted Kakashi, Itachi said. Now it was Naruto who had the eye twitch. Saru, I know Naruto will do a good job, said the Hokage. Ita, when do I start classes? Itachi asked. Saru, Monday at 8 in the morning at the academy, said the Hokage. Ita, okay, Itachi said defeated. Inside Naruto, he was jumping with happiness. It would be a unique opportunity, and he would make sure to save it for posterity. He would record and photograph everything that he would suffer, Itachi would go through while he was dressed as Guy, without forgetting the reaction of the girls. When they saw him in those tight clothes, finally his revenge for all the things Itachi had done to him. Ita, Naruto, I only ask you 2 things, said Itachi. Naru, which ones? Naruto asked. Ita, the first is that you make my mother happy, she deserves to be happy, and the second is that you don't take her away from me, Itachi said sadly. Naru, yes, you will be Baka, Naruto began to say. Mikoto-chan will never be happy away from you, idiot, you are her son. My intention has never been to separate Mikoto-chan from you. In fact, I want that when our children are born you will help take care of them, and when they leave the academy you will be their teacher. So if we go far away I will have to walk a long way to ask for your help, Ita, Naruto, you are a big idiot, he began to tell him, but you are a great person. In all this, my mother, where is she? Saru, it's true, where is Mikoto? Said the Hokage. Naru, she came next to me, but when we got to the door she walked away, said Naruto. Suddenly the 3 of them felt an explosion. Naru, I don't think it's... Naruto said. Ita, I don't think my mother is a chronic pacifist, said Itachi. The Hokage and Naruto looked at each other with a huge drop on their foreheads. Then another explosion and a voice were heard. Miko, you two stay away from my son. The only one I accept as his girlfriend is Nai-chan, and your horse stay away from my boyfriend, said a female voice. Naruto is convinced. Ita Kurenai, Itachi explained, then grabbed him by the lapels of his jacket. What did you do to my mother? Nara, nothing, I swear, Naruto said while Itachi shook him really well. Ita, don't lie, Naruto. My mother is incapable of hurting a fly, Itachi told me, annoyed. Naru, Itachi, I swear that this new attitude of Mikoto-chan has surprised me too. An hour ago I just found out that before you were born, she was known as the Kushina of the Uchiha, and along with her teammates they were known as the daughters of Tsunade and Kushina. And I also found out that their Jounin sensei was none other than Tsunade, said Naruto. Ita, men, lie, Itachi said, surprised, looking at the Hokage. Saru, Itachi, I regret to inform you that what Naruto says is true. There is only one woman, of worse character than your mother's team, a woman who is on par with Tsunade in terms of character, strength, and terrible temper. That woman, it was Kushina Uzumaki, and she was Tsunade's first disciple. I must say that Mikoto, Midori, and Hitomi, when they left the academy, wanted to be equal to Tsunade and Kushina. The three of them were on the same path as the two of them, but fortunately for Konoha they were born. And Kurenai, and that appeased two of Tsunade and Kushina's daughters, said the old Hokage. Ita, Kurenai, what does she have to do with my mother's team? Wait a minute, you don't want to tell me that the Hitomi you're talking about is Hitomi Yuhi? Kurenai's mother, the Hokage agreed, but that's impossible. If my mother doesn't kill a fly, Hitomi-san is holier than my mother. She would take that fly, would feed him, and then prepare a bed for him, Itachi said incredulously. Naru, welcome to the club, Naruto said to Itachi. Suddenly they heard some moans of pain. Naru, we better go see. I don't want to have to come see Miko-chan in jail, said Naruto. When we came out, there were 3 girls lying on the ground, unconscious, and in the distance we could see 4 other girls running away. Ida, nah, Naruto, remind me not to make my mother angry, Itachi said, pale. Naru, remind me the same thing, said Naruto in the same state as Itachi. Just then Mikoto saw the two of them. Miko, Naru, Ida-kun, Mikoto-chan shouted when she saw the two of them. Saru, Mikoto, I'll repeat it to you again. You can't go around the village hitting every girl who thinks Itachi or Naruto is handsome, said the Hokage in a tired tone. Miko, but Tsunade-sensei authorized me, said her Miko-chan proudly. Tsunade died from the grave of Itachi and Naruto. The Hokage gave a sigh. Saru, Mikoto, if you hit any woman again without a valid reason, I will arrest you and Tsunade and keep you imprisoned until hell freezes over, the old man threatened. Miko, I want to see Hokage-sama try it. I don't think his wife would like to know what he hides in the 3rd drawer on the right of his desk, Mikoto responded. The Hokage sweated cold. Itachi and Naruto knew what the old man was hiding there, his Aika collection and the special edition Aika with photographs. If Biwako-sama found them, they would have to start looking for a new Hokage. But his Mikoto-chan had only started by threatening him, then turned to Itachi. Miko, Itachi Uchiha, I'll tell you just once, I don't want to see you with any girl other than Kurenai-chan, otherwise I'll make the Kiri massacre appear like a picnic, Mikoto threatens. Itachi broke out in a cold sweat and looked at his mother in amazement. He believed he had been saved, but Naruto Uzumaki is not lucky in that regard. Miko, as for you, Naruto-kun, if you keep me for 4 days without your hugs and kisses and you worry me like that again, I will put a leash on you and make you sleep on the floor, and if you think I'm playing, I'll warn you not to. I'm playing, so stay upright. Mikoto looked at him threateningly. Naruto looked at Itachi and then at the Hokage. All 3 of them were surprised and scared. Yes, ma'am, Itachi and Naruto responded in unison. Naru, but what will happen when I go on a mission? Naruto said. Miko, it's the only valid excuse for not giving me my hugs and kisses. Now come here, Naru, and start hugging me. Look, you have to compensate me for 4 days, said his Miko-chan. He quickly hugged her, which caused the unfortunate Itachi to laugh, as did the old man. What's the joke, Itachi-chan? Mikoto said seriously. None, mother, Itachi said seriously but barely holding back his laughter. Now, young man, you will go to your father, he will give you a punishment, and when you complete that punishment you will go to see me at my new house and there I will give you my punishment. And do not believe for a second that it will be cleaning and sweeping, it will be a real punishment. Mikoto would be a threat. He and Itachi couldn't believe the change in the sweet and tender Mikoto Uchiha, in what they saw now, and something told him that it was just the beginning. Chapter 10 Inheritance New House. First Part. After Itachi left them, Mikoto and Naruto accompanied the old man to his office. The walk became slow since their Miko-chan did not let me walk without hugging her. The old man went with stupid schoolgirl giggles. He looked at him and gave his exasperating giggles. In the end, a 10-minute walk from the hospital to the Hokage Tower became a walk of almost an hour. The only thing he wanted was to get there quickly so that people would stop seeing him, since there were more curious people than Naruto would have liked, and the old man did not help to make the walk faster. Sometimes he stopped to greet someone. He was already considering the need for a new Hokage. But when he was going to release Mikoto to kill the old man who was talking to another man, she simply raised an eyebrow, and that was enough to reconsider her intentions. Finally they arrived at the old man's blessed office, but the damned bastard, laughing like a schoolgirl, stopped to light his damned pipe, turned towards the window. After smoking a little, in which the unfortunate man took his time, he turned towards for them. 15 minutes had already passed. Naru, old man, are you going to tell us, why the hell did you make us come? Naruto said, quite annoyed, but his sweet Mikoto took away his anger with a not-so-gentle blow to the head that almost buried him in the old man's desk. Miko let the venerable old man smoke in peace, since it may be his last time. Naru-chan, said his smiling Mikoto-chan, but in her eyes you could see that she had more homicidal intentions than hers. The old man realized his Miko-chan's intentions, took a last drag on his pipe, settled down, and looked at us seriously. Sorry, well, Naruto, since you are old enough and you have plans to settle down with a pretty girl, the Hokage began to say, still nervous about the looks that Mikoto was giving him. It is time for me to reveal your heritage to you, that is, who are your parents, or at least your mother, since your father's identity is a secret. Give you what she left you and an explanation of why your assets were kept hidden until now? Naru, this whole damn time you knew who my parents were. All this damn time you kept the truth from me. Even though you knew what knowing my parents' identity meant to me, you weren't even kind enough to tell me where his grave was. You're a bucking bastard. Hiruzen Sarutobi, give me one damn reason not to murder you right now. Answer, damn it, say something, you bastard, Naruto shouted with all his might, and with tears coming out of his blue eyes. Sorry, Naruto, I wanted to tell you the truth, but the council forbade it. Only when you were older or were going to get married could I tell you everything, the old man said, distressed. Naru, I don't give a damn about the advice. Why old? Why? I bucking trusted you. I obeyed you blindly. You were my example of righteousness. I respected you. I loved you as if you were my grandfather and my father. Answer, damn it, why did you do this to me? Said Naruto, even more furious. Mikoto watched them in silence. Meanwhile, the old man was crying after the last thing he said. Sorry, Naruto. I didn't want to hide the truth from you, but it was necessary. It was for the safety of the village, said the old man desperately. Miko, around the village? Don't make me laugh, Sarutobi. Mikoto began to say, visibly angry. It's always the same garbage. It's because of the village, or it's because of the clan. The truth is that it's always to hide the mistakes that the damn council makes. Give me just one reason why. Which I didn't call Tsunade-sensei to help me kill you for what you are doing to Naruto-chan. Answer, and don't try to lie. Suddenly the old man leaned back and looked at Mikoto in fear. Sorry, you have, said the old man, completely pale. Miko. Yes, old man, I have the Mangekyo Sharingan. I got it when my mother died in my arms after dying for a week where I didn't move from her side, Mikoto said coldly. Sorry, Mikoto. Understand, the reason why the identity of Naruto's parents was kept secret first was so that the village would be safe, and secondly so that Naruto would stay alive, the old man said almost desperately. Miko, now you are going to tell me that Naruto is the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, said Mikoto sarcastically. Sorry, well, yes, that's the truth, said the old man. Naru, stop lying, old man, Naruto said, annoyed. Sorry, well, it's the truth, Naruto. You are the son of two of the strongest shinobi in the history of Konoha, said the old man. Naru, but how? Naruto said, stunned. Miko, Impossible, said her Mikoto-chan. Saru, well, now that you are calmer, I can begin to tell you the truth. The old man began to speak. During the Third Ninja War, there were a couple of ninjas who stood out above the rest on the Konoha side. Minato Namikaze, Jiraiya's disciple, known like the Yellow Lightning of Konoha. She was capable of destroying an enemy battalion in a matter of seconds. And the other was Kushina Uzumaki, Tsunade's disciple, the Death of the Red Hair, or as she was more popularly known, the Bloody Habanero of Konoha. The old man let out a small smile. With her strength alone, she was capable of crushing a battalion by herself. In IWA, they said that where Kushina passed, the grass did not grow again. The two of them were the reason we won that war. It turns out that in a battle they met. It turns out that the staff decided to send two groups to kill 3 battalions that were hidden in a canyon waiting to attack. Kushina's squad would attack from the north and Minato's would attack from the south. It turns out that Kushina's squad arrived a half hour before Minato's. They had orders to attack at the same time, but she began the attack before. The massacre that she unleashed no one could believe. While the 3 squads tried to stop, Minato's squad arrived at Kushina and began the attack from behind the enemies. After about an hour and a half, the 3 squads were finished on the battlefield. Only Kushina and Minato and obviously their squads were left, which were at a certain distance. Since everyone in Konoha knew that Kushina couldn't stand Minato, while Minato was crazy about Kushina. And there in the middle of the pile of corpses, Kushina began to argue with Minato. "What are you doing here, Namikaze?" Kushina said, annoyed. "I came to help you, Kushina-chan," Minato responded. "Go to hell, Namikaze, I don't need your pathetic help," said Kushina. Unfortunately, one of the corpses was not as dead as Minato, and Kushina believed, and with the last of his strength he threw a kunai in Kushina's direction. Minato, who saw what the subject did, pushed Kushina to the side and prevented the kunai from killing Kushina. However, he did not prevent the kunai from hurting him in the shoulder. She was going to complain to him for having pushed him, and she saw the kunai on Kushina's shoulder. Minato also saw the guy who threw the kunai. Kushina quickly approached the guy and literally destroyed him with blows. Then she got to where Minato was and asked him why he had done it. Minato simply told her because he loved her. That was an impact for Kushina. After that incident, Kushina and Minato began dating secretly a couple of years. Later they secretly married. Only me and a couple of other people knew the secret. 2 years later they found out that Naruto would be born. That made them very happy. It was their greatest achievement. They were going to be parents. However, when Kushina was 6 months pregnant, Minato went on a secret mission and did not return alive. The mission was a trap and they ambushed him. One of the greatest heroes Konoha died there. When the reinforcements arrived, he was already dead. Minato's death greatly affected Kushina. However, she was able to carry her pregnancy to term. But the effort of giving birth to Naruto and the enormous sadness of losing Minato made that she died giving birth. Naruto was petrified. His parents had died. His parents had been heroes. His father died because of a damned trap, and his mother died while he was born. Those conclusions entered his mind again and again. Nara, no. No. It can't be, Naruto said, still in shock. Mikoto hugged him and caressed his head. At that moment Naruto broke down. He couldn't stand it. He may have been Anbu that he had killed on orders and almost without any remorse, but the truth of his origin hit him very hard. He felt in limbo. He didn't even feel Mikoto's caresses. He was completely and absolutely defeated. "Miko, Sarutobi, is this some kind of joke?" said Mikoto. "Saru, I don't know in any way what it means for Naruto to know about his parents. I would never play with that. It's the truth. Naruto is the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, the Hokage responded. "Miko Tsunade-sensei, do you know?" asked his Miko-chan. "Saru, she only knows that Kushina and Minato got married. She doesn't know who Naruto's parents are, and she doesn't know that she is his godmother," the old man answered. "Naruto erotic Sanin," Naruto said, annoyed. The old man shifted uncomfortably. "Baru, answer me, old man. Ero Sanin, do you know?" Naruto said, barely containing his anger. "Miko, answer Sarutobi, damn it," said Mikoto, very annoyed. The old man gave a sigh. "Saru, Naruto Jiraiya is in the same position as me, the wise man, but he was forced to remain silent," the old man responded. Nary, you mean to tell me that damned bastard Jiraiya knew and never had the courage to even tell me, Naruto said, hitting the old man's desk hard. Miko, who ordered Naru to hide the truth? Said her Mikoto-chan grimly. Sorry Mikoto, I can't tell you, said the old man. Miko, look, Sarutobi, I don't give a damn if it's an S-level secret or higher. You will tell me and you will tell Naru who are the damn bastards who prevented Naruto from knowing the truth for so long, took away the joy of knowing about his parents, they took away the joy of knowing their names. They denied him the possibility of taking a miserable flower to their graves. Now Sarutobi, if you don't want me to start using my Mangekyo Sharingan in this damn office and start destroying the Hokage Tower, you will tell me those names, said Mikoto with a terrifying aura. The old man sat down and took another sigh. Saru, it was Hamura, Koharu, Danzo, and supported by the Fire Lord, the old man answered. Naru, because it doesn't surprise me that the 3 rats are involved in this, Naruto said with disgust. Sorry Naruto, don't plan to do something stupid, said the old man. Naru, and if I plan it, what does it matter? They and you ruined my life, now give me my damn inheritance to leave this disgusting office, and don't try to fix things, old man, what they did to me has no name, Naruto said, annoyed. Saru, okay Naruto, but keep in mind that what was done was for the village that your parents protected and to protect you, the old man said almost pleadingly. Naru, I agree that the village should be protected, but it was difficult for you to tell me their names and where their graves were when I became Jounin or Anbu. At least I would have been able to bring them a flower from time to time. You have disappointed me, not only you but that this entire village that I have protected with my life didn't deserve the right to bring a flower to their grave? Naruto said very seriously. His Mikoto-chan simply hugged him and looked almost hatefully at the old man. Saru, okay, you're right, Naruto. I apologize on behalf of Konoha. Now your inheritance is the Namikaze house on the outskirts of Konoha, the money that your parents left, and the Uzumaki scrolls that are still preserved in the Hokage vault, said the old man. Naru, I need the scrolls now, Naruto said, annoyed. Sorry but Naruto, said the old man. Naru, but nothing, I want them now without excuses. They are from my clan and they belong to me by right, or perhaps you forgot to give them to me when I became Chunin. At that time all the scrolls should have been given to me without delay, but it was not like that, Naruto said. Saru, okay Naruto said old Sarutobi, defeated, and then added, but you will understand that I must keep some. Naru, I said all Sarutobi, without exception. If after studying them I consider that they should be returned, I will do so. Furthermore, you cannot force me to do anything since I am part of the council as the only Uzumaki of Konoha and leader of one of the founding clans. Now we will go to look for those scrolls and don't try anything funny with your ambus, since I don't want to create problems, said Naruto. Saru, okay, said Sarutobi, resigned. Chapter 11, Inheritance, New House, Second Part. The tension inside the Hokage's office was palpable. Sarutobi was nervously trying to kill time. About 5 minutes passed when Naruto and Mikoto finally got bored of waiting. Naruto made some signs and summoned a regular-sized wolf. Sarutobi's eyes almost popped out when he saw the wolf. Naru, what did you think was only the toad contract? Naruto said, looking at the old man. Then he looked at the wolf. Shiro, you can go look for Fugaku and Tsunade. If they ask what the reason is, tell them that a very serious accident has occurred to one of the founding clans of Konoha. Sorry Naruto, it is not necessary to involve Tsunade and Fugaku, the old man said, scared. Miko, no? Tell me Sarutobi, why don't you involve them? Maybe your plans are to destroy the Uchiha clan or the Senju clan later. We will not leave this office until they arrive, said Mikoto while her Sharingan activated. After a couple of minutes, Shiro returned. Ready Naruto, both Fugaku and Tsunade will be here shortly, said Shiro. Nara, thank you Shiro. Can you make sure that no one enters this office until Tsunade and Fugaku are here? There are very serious things that will be discussed here and we don't want to be interrupted, said Naruto. Shiro just walked out. Soon Tsunade appeared and Fugaku almost at the same time. What is happening, Naruto? Tsunade said. Fugaku only saw Mikoto with her Sharingan activated and knew something was very wrong. Tsunade, you better let them explain this. Although it seems irregular to me, there must be a very good and powerful reason, Fugaku said calmly. Miko, well, there is Fugaku and Tsunade-sensei. The Council of Elders, the Hokage, Jiraiya and the Fire Lord deny Naruto-kun his inheritance, Mikoto said in a calm voice, but her internal rage could be seen from afar. What inheritance? I always thought Naruto was an orphan, said Fugaku, frowning. Well, if I am an orphan, Fugaku-sama, simply that the man in front of you point to Sarutobi and other subjects judged that it was best to hide the identity of my parents, even though they should have told me their identities when I became Chunin according to the law, and gave me my inheritance that rightfully belongs to me, said Naruto. Who are your parents, Naruto? Tsunade said calmly. Well, you see, Tsunade, or should I say godmother, this last thing he said surprised Tsunade. My parents are Minato Namake's. Fugaku turned red with rage since his father was a close friend of his, and my mother is Kushina Uzumaki, said Naruto. Naruto had seen Tsunade upset before, but now she was furious. She hit the old man's desk and broke it in two before it fell to the floor below, while Fugaku was also furious. His Sharingan activated almost immediately after he told his father's name. Look, Hiruzen Sarutobi, you have exactly 10 seconds to tell me why you hid the truth for so long, and why didn't you tell me that Naruto was my godson? Tsunade said with blind fury. You could almost see the chakra accumulating around him. Will you also tell us why they denied Naruto his inheritance from him for so long, and why they did not tell him the names of his parents, as was their duty from him? Think carefully about your answer, Sarutobi. I don't want lies. Konoha is one step away from the Uchiha clan leaving this village. I'm sure Kumo, Kiri or Iwa would welcome us with open arms. Fugaku said. Sarutobi, you have disgraced one of the founding clans of this village, and the memory of my grandfather, my great-uncle, and all those who have fought and continue to fight for this village, Tsunade said. Saru, it was for the good of the village, said old Sarutobi. What is this supposed good of the village? Naruto asked. Saru, the identity of Naruto's parents could have led us to a new war with Iwa. Plus we did it for the safety of Naruto himself, said old Sarutobi. My safety? I agree that it could have been for my safety, but what happened when I became a Chunin, or when I became a Jounin, or when I entered ANBU? I guess by then my safety wasn't at stake, Naruto said sarcastically. Regardless of Naruto's safety, why wasn't he allowed to obtain his inheritance from him when he was Chunin? Fugaku said, annoyed. Saru, it was because it was too much, said Sarutobi, totally defeated. Too much? Everyone said in chorus. Sarutobi, yes, if we gave Naruto his inheritance to him, the village could be vulnerable, and the money was too much too. If we gave the inheritance to Naruto, Konoha would be ruined. Now you're supposed to give me my parents' money, what's the problem? Naruto said. Naruto, the problem is not your parents' money, the problem is the money of the Uzumaki and Namakes. It is true that the Senju, Uchiha and Uzumaki initially created Konoha. However, after a few years, the need for money to continue maintaining the village, especially when it was evident that the first great ninja war would begin. This is where the Uzumaki and Namakes take center stage. Both clans were the richest, and they lent large amounts of money to Konoha. It could be. See how the Senju and the Uchiha were the visible force of Konoha, but the Uzumaki and Namakes were the invisible force that maintained Konoha with their money and the Uzumaki seals. Fugaku explained. So you were thinking of not just giving him the money Kushina and Minato had saved, right, Hiruzen Sarutobi? You were planning to scam my godson, Tsunade said furiously. Sarutobi, I. Don't lie anymore, keep some dignity, old man, said Naruto. Where are the Uzumaki and Namakes scrolls? Fugaku asked. Saru, in the Hokage vault, answered old Sarutobi. At this very moment we will go to look for the Uzumaki and Namakes scrolls in the vault, and tomorrow at noon I want the clan council to meet in full. I assume that Tsunade and Naruto will not oppose this call made by the Uchiha clan, said Fugaku. The Senju clan does not oppose and supports the call, Tsunade said in a solemn voice. His Mikoto-chan whispered in his ear that he should say the same thing that Tsunade had said. The Uzumaki clan and the Namakes clan do not oppose and support the call, said Naruto. The old man turned white as if he had died, his eyes almost popping out. The Senju clan also requests the presence of the Sannin Jiraiya at that meeting, Tsunade said seriously. The Uchiha clan approves the request, Fugaku said. Naru, the Namikaze clan, and Uzumaki approved the request, said Naruto. The old man was getting paler and paler. Naruto very little understood what was happening, and because since Tsunade and Fugaku became solemn, the old man became paler and paler. Sarutobi guided them to the Hokage's vault. Naruto had already been there several times, but he never imagined that almost all the scrolls were Uzumaki and Namikaze scrolls. When they finished with their Mikoto-chan sealing them, the vault was almost empty. Only there were left about 50 scrolls. Halfway through his work, the Hokage spoke. Naruto, I beg you to reconsider, said Sarutobi. Naru, reconsider what? My disappointment, my anger, my pain. Tell me, Sarutobi, what should I reconsider? Naruto said, still annoyed, while Tsunade and Fugaku only agreed. The old man was silent for the rest of the sealing. Then came Tsunade and Fugaku's blow. I want to remove the Senju scrolls, Tsunade said, pointing to 4 very thick scrolls. I want to remove the Uchiha scrolls. I feel like they won't be safe here, Fugaku said bluntly. Sara, please, Fugaku, Tsunade, old Sarutobi almost begged. Please, Sarutobi, Fugaku began to say. You know as well as we do that these scrolls do not belong to Konoha. They belong to the Senju, Uchiha, Namikaze, and Uzumaki clans. They are here in custody until the clans claim them. Now, with what they did to the heir of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan, I feel that these scrolls will be safer in the Uchiha complex, since, as I said before, they belong to my clan, not Konoha. I support what Fugaku said. I feel that the Senju scrolls are not safe in the Hokage's custody, since what they did to Naruto amounts to theft, Tsunade said, annoyed. The old man had nothing left but to remain silent. Then Tsunade, Fugaku, Mikoto, and Naruto came out of the Hokage tower. Nara, thank you for your help, Fugaku-san and Tsunade, said Naruto. You don't have to thank Naruto, although I think we should all stay at the Uchiha compound tonight just for safety, Tsunade said. There is no problem for me. Follow me and I will give you some accommodations for tonight. Tomorrow we will see that what they did to you, Naruto, is not repeated. When I arrive, I will summon the members of the clan and I will explain to them. Some will not like it, but we must be prepared for everything. This afternoon I will summon the leader of the Hyuga clan, Inuzuka, Yamanaka, and Aburame to explain to them what happened and to support us, said Fugaku. Upon arriving at the Uchiha complex, several gave Mikoto a dirty look, but Fugaku nipped them in the bud by ordering the entire clan to appear for an urgent meeting. The Uchiha clan meeting was relatively brief. He was able to tell that even the most conservative of the clan were upset by how the council handled the situation. After the meeting, the Uchiha clan treated them with respect, which honestly surprised him, and later they met with the Hyuga clan, Inuzuka, Yamanaka, and Aburame. They were not amused by what had happened either, even after Naruto learned that the Hyuga clan and Aburame requested their scrolls from the Hokage vault. At the end of the day, it was made public the proclamation of a clan council meeting. Rumors spread like fire in dry grass, from a possible invasion to another Hokage being appointed. Nobody knew the truth. At the Fugaku dinner, Tsunade and her Mikoto-chan explained to him that within the laws of Konoha there was one that gave power over the council and the Hokage himself to the Senju, Uchiha, and Uzumaki clans, to which the Namikaze clan, to suit the clan council and judge the high command of the village. The next day the tension was palpable. The bustling Konoha, that day dawned silence. The businesses opened as usual, but it was not like every day. They got up early. They had breakfast and at 9 in the morning they were entering the hall. Clan council. Upon entering, Naruto made a summons and a small toad appeared. Naruto asked him to tell Fukasaku and Shima to be present at the meeting. Shortly after, the 2 elderly toads appeared. They asked him what was happening. Naruto told them that he wanted them to see and hear what was going to happen. They agreed. The heads of the Konoha clans one by one arrived at 9:30. The Hokage, the elders, and Jiraiya made their entrance. Tsunade, Fugaku, and Naruto glared at the group. Since we are all gathered, the leaders of the Senju, Uchiha, Namikaze, and Uzumaki clans have agreed the clan council to judge the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, the advisor Hamura Mitokado, the advisor Koharu Yuditane, the advisor Danzo Shimura, and the Sannin Jiraiya for crimes against the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan, Fugaku said. The other clan leaders remained silent. They knew what it meant for the founding clans and the Namikaze clan to call a clan council meeting and accuse the Hokage and his advisors. It was something very serious. If I remember correctly, Fugaku-sama, the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan no longer exist in the village, said the leader of the Nara clan. That is incorrect, Shikaku, and that is the basis of the crimes we accuse the Hokage and his advisors of, Tsunade responded. What does Tsunade-sama mean? What are the charges? Asked Chusa Akimichi. To begin with, everyone remembers that the previous leaders of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans were Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Everyone agreed. Fugaku continued, as it was public knowledge they got married. Everyone agreed again. What not everyone knows is that Kushina and Minato had a son. And although I agree that at the beginning it was necessary to protect that child, who grew up as an orphan, from the wrath of Minato and Kushina's enemies, that does not justify what the Council of Elders and the Hokage of this village they made. What did the Hokage and the Council of Elders supposedly do? Hisashi Hyuga asked. The Hokage and the council denied Minato and Kushina's son his inheritance. The commotion immediately broke out in the council. Fugaku waited for them to remain silent before continuing. They denied him not only the scrolls that belonged to him by right and the money that it belonged to him corresponded, but they denied her the most basic of rights, the right to know the name of her parents, and to know where their graves are located so that she could bring them even a flower. Who is the heir? Chusa Akimichi asked. We all know the son of Minato and Kushina. The son of Minato and Kushina is Naruto Uzumaki. The exclamations of surprise did not wait. Now, as leader of the Senju clan, I demand that you explain to all of us in the council why you denied Naruto his inheritance from him for so long? Tsunade asked. All eyes turned to the elderly. It was for the good of the village. The brat had no right to that inheritance, said Hamura. Miko, you mean to say that you didn't even have the right to know your parents' names? Mikoto asked, annoyed. Who do you think you are, Mikoto, to give your opinion on this site? Said Danzo. Miko, I am the fiancé of the leader of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, and I am waiting to hear a good reason not to ask for their heads to be cut off, since they have overstepped the laws left to us by the founders of Konoha, the laws of the clans and the minimum laws of human decency, said Mikoto, annoyed. Naruto realized that his Sharingan appeared as if nothing had happened. The three elders trembled upon hearing what their Mikoto-chan said. However, the Hokage seemed very calm. We did it around the village. The Uzumaki scrolls are very dangerous, Koharu said. Because we live in Konoha, the scrolls belong to the village, Danzo managed to say. Neru, do they belong to the village? Naruto began to say, so because I live in Konoha, those scrolls, the knowledge of my parents' clans, belong to Konoha. That's right, Danzo replied proudly. Neru, so Hisashi-sama, by the fact that he lives in Konoha, the Kaiten of the Hyuga belongs to Konoha, or the art of breeding insects in the bodies of human beings of the Abirame belongs to Konoha, or better yet, the Sharingan belongs to Konoha, Naruto said with hatred. Aye. Danzo was trapped. Miko, as you see, members of the clan council, your Miko-chan began to say, the people of the council of elders do not deserve our trust. Today it was the Uzumaki clan, tomorrow it could be the Akimichi, the Abirame, the Yamanaka, or perhaps the Hyuga or Uchiha. I ask for the maximum sentence for the three elders, or at least the removal of their positions, and that they can no longer influence the life of Konoha. However, Naruto was also denied his economic inheritance, which comes from his parents and his clans, Tsunade said. The old men now began to tremble visibly. Hokage, how much is the financial inheritance of Naruto's parents? Asked Inoichi Yamanaka. Sara, the financial inheritance of Naruto's parents amounts to 2 million ryus, the Saratobi responded. And the inheritance of the clans? Hisashi Hyuga asked. Saratobi, the inheritance of the Uzumaki clan is 115 million ryus. And the Namikaze clan? Saminazuka asked. Sara, the inheritance of the Namikaze clan amounts to approximately 233 million ryus, Saratobi responded. How can the Namikaze clan have so much money? Chusa asked. Chusa-san, you all know that the village was created by the Uchiha, the Senju, and the Uzumaki. What you don't know is that the one who financed the village was the Namikaze clan, Fugaku said. Everyone sank in their seats. The amount of money could put Konoha in serious economic trouble, and Naruto understood that. Nara Clan Council, my intention is not to leave Konoha in ruin, however I have some conditions, said Naruto. What would those conditions be? Inoichi asked. Nara, they are simple, Inoichi-san. In exchange for 50 million ryas, which is not even 20% of the total that Konoha owes me, the rest will be given to me in annual payments of 30 million ryas for 10 years. I want the Council of Elders is executed. The Hokage must meanwhile leave his position to a more competent person chosen by this council, while the Sannin Jiraiya is given an order not to approach me or my fiancée and future wife, in addition to giving him to Tsunade 20% of the profits from the sales of her books, Naruto said seriously. What does the Sannin Jiraiya have to do with it? Chuz asked. Nary he knew about all this, and despite knowing me since I was a child, he never even told me the name of my parents. I understand that he was bound by an oath of confidentiality. That is why I am not asking for his head, Naruto said. Do you have any other requests, Naruto? Fugaku asked. Nara, not only will I make an announcement, everyone looked at him carefully. From today I stop being a shinobi of Konoha. I feel that I no longer feel comfortable protecting Konoha as a shinobi after the betrayal by the village's high command. That does not mean in any case that I will try to attack the village. It simply means that I will no longer be a ninja. If at some point in the future I want to serve the village again, I will request my reintegration into the shinobi ranks. But for now, the pain of being betrayed, especially by someone whom I considered a father and by whom I considered a grandfather, it is very fresh and it still hurts me. I hope you understand, said Naruto. We understand, Naruto. Konoha has acted against the wishes of Hashirama Senju, Madara Uchiha, Mito Uzumaki, and many who lived, protected, and loved the village, Fugaku said, and several agreed in agreement. Those in favor of Naruto's conditions, Tsunade said. Everyone raised their hands. The elders Koharu, Hamura, and Danzo were trembling. The Hokage just agreed in resignation. Jiraiya just looked at Naruto sadly. The meeting was dissolved. The three elders would be executed in front of the Hokage Tower in front of the entire town. The council decided that the most suitable person to assume the position of Hokage was Tsunade, since Fugaku declined the position, claiming that he could not leave even as head from the clan to Itachi. Tsunade obviously reluctantly agreed and threatened to beat Naruto and Fugaku if they couldn't go to their Friday poker games because he was Hokage.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.